Okay, just waiting.
Wow, that was crazy.
You're loud and clear now.
Yeah, that was crazy. Welcome back to everyone. I don't know what you heard last. What could you not hear me at all?
Not at all. But did you hear me?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
We got to do Shaq and Kobe. I got you.
Yeah, man, you definitely got me. You definitely got me. People them like, make sure you hit the like button, like Foxy said. Anyone that's on this show, make sure you know that in the description they will be there. They've all got channels. Everyone that comes on this show. All right. So yeah. So how's everything been, Foxy? Like, yeah.
Everything's been great so far. You know,
Yeah.
family's all right. My dad's stable now, and like I was saying before, my
Okay.
daughter's off. For they have a what they call winter recess, winter break. But
Yeah.
today is the President Lincoln's birthday or something like that. So they celebrate President's Day as a federal holiday in the States. So, like, if you work for the library or certain government jobs, you're off. So,
Oh,
yeah.
is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Lincoln, yeah?
Yeah. I want to, yeah. Yeah. I just got to say, you know what? Because I did a live Friday on my other channel and I was talking about Carter G. Woodson and how Black History Month started, and it's
Right.
coming back. It's going back to Carter G. Woodson in 1912 or 1926, where he wanted to honor and remember Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass the second week in February,
Okay.
and he called it Negro History Week.
Okay.
Right. That's why I couldn't. I'm trying to get it out. I'm like, yeah. Do I really want to commemorate Abraham Lincoln? Sure, no.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Still, is it? There's a lot of different holidays. What it's good for people to research,
Absolutely.
especially things like Christmas, Valentine's. Like people just sink into this following these things, and you might think it's nothing, but everything has always got something behind it. You know what I'm trying to say?
Right.
Um, Check that out. But yeah, no, I always like hearing about them things because I like to know about their holidays and who's behind what and what's so special about the person. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But you got a lot going on in your country at the moment, though, man.
We got balloons flying all across the
Do you
place.
know
The
what I mean?
trees are derailing. Oh my goodness.
So
Yeah.
even after the balloons, they would say there was other things in it. There was they shot down 4 other things, but they're not telling the people what they are.
Right. Right.
Because I think we talked about the balloon in the last show,
We
but we didn't
did.
talk about the other 3 objects that they shot down now. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So what have you heard? Have you heard anything about what the actual objects were? Like at least.
Nope. I haven't heard. I'm not looking for it because what's being given to me downloaded spiritually speaking is that that's none of my concern. Those who know, and it's really like they're really trying to do their last little hoorah before things start getting really crazy, because then we're gonna have white Jesus being hologrammed and talk about now it's the end of times. So I don't know what they said about the 3 objects or what other objects that they found that they supposedly took down. But there's train derailments all across the country now.
Right, but let's go back to that. It's funny that you just brought up that we must be on the same page today because it's really funny you just brought up about the hologram. So, in China, they've advanced their holograms. People, just have a little quick look at this video, yeah. And Foxy just brought up about the holograms, but there's some different level, man. Check this out, people.
正常。你看，怎么你看，哎，正常。嗯。半约了。你是？哈哈哈哈！哟，我搞到车上了。哎呀，正常。
That's no joke right there, people.
Wow.
That technology there is dangerous for someone to have that, man. That's a different level of technology. So you have to understand something, yeah? So we know how technology works, people. Whatever they're showing us now, they got something 20 times better than that. Because they say that we're like 50 or 100 years back in technology. So imagine what they've perfected. So think about it, Foxy. You don't remember the 2-pack hologram?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? So think about how long ago that was.
Right.
So that is a serious weapon. Like, not everyone don't know about Project Blue Beam and things like that. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like there's a lot of people that we know about certain things. People, we have to understand that there's a lot of people out there that don't know about these things. So if they see like a big ship up in the sky, they're gonna think it's a UFO.
Right.
You know what I'm trying to say? Then the first thing they're not gonna think first of all that it's a hologram. Do you understand what I'm saying? But back to what you were saying about the train derailments as well, like.
So there's what my understanding is that there is the transit workers or the railroad workers are on a strike, and so part of that is, I don't know if they're intentionally doing these things or if there's something that's stopping them, because there's not only is there derailments, but there is like accidents. The first time I heard about this train situation was about 2 months ago, and there was a train leaving from DC, East Coast side. I believe it was leaving DC or New York going to Florida, and it was stuck in North Carolina for about 24 hours.
Oh.
So, these things got to understand the trains bring across the states your food supplies, your water supplies, your oils,
exactly.
and so forth and so on, right? And now the one that happened in Ohio, there was a gas contaminant that blew up, right? It's like I just said, the trains deliver, your oil supply. So, these, I don't know what's the whole, I know, but I don't know why these things are happening so randomly. But, it's just like the balloons that we saw, going across. They try to say, oh, it's China that's bringing off the balloon.
How do we know that? It could have been
Listen,
anyone that sent that balloon out.
You know who sent it? Allegedly, the people in the United States.
Come on, man.
Listen, you got DC, who is, that's where Washington, DC is where all of our government officials sit at. The way those balloons were traveling were going north up through the states to Canada. Yeah. It's not blowing that. Listen, for us to really sit there, they're playing on our intelligence. For us to really sit there and think this little balloon got blown all the way across the Atlantic Ocean. Yeah. And then got shot down. Just stop it.
They couldn't have shot it out. They couldn't have shot it down over the ocean.
You know what I'm saying? Come on now.
And then they shot down other things, and they're not even telling people where them things are from, like what they were. I saw some footage of some air pilot, that shot down one of the other UFOs, and he was saying that didn't look like nothing that he could imagine. Like, you understand? He didn't, So
Yeah.
there's more to that. But the trains, that's a spooky situation. Because didn't it happen as well? Where did it happen as well? It happened in, was it? No, not Italy. Where was it? Where was it? People them in the chat. Where did it happen? Because it wasn't only over there. It was somewhere else. It happened as well. But yeah, the leaking of the gas. Like I was
Mm-hmm.
just saying in the video, it's like they were telling people that the water is okay, the food's okay. You know what I mean? And then my a whole day, Foxy. Later on, they said, "Nah, you don't drink the water." So
Right.
after they've done and drunk it for the whole day, they got told that.
Exactly.
So yeah, like you're
Then
saying, mhm.
so, and in New York City, we have, well, upstate New York, there is a nuclear power plant called Indian. I forgot what the other name of it is, but it's called Indian Power Plant. But there's something else behind other than Indian Power Plant. I got to get the exact name for you guys. Anyway, they said in an article which came out last week in one of the magazines for New York City, that they want to, because now this nuclear power plant has been defunct for years, so it's not active. But they
Right.
want to release the toxin that's sitting in those cannons or barrels out into the Hudson River, which is, I mean, not our water supply, but it can contaminate and leak down into the city. So now you're messing with the animal life, the wildlife that's living in the water. And that I find that very disturbing, because this is all coming after the whole Ohio derailment with the oil spill and stuff like that. And it's going into their water system. Now, to a couple of, this is maybe about almost 10 years now, Flint, Michigan, their water supply has been completely contaminated. And there hasn't really been any big news about their water system, their water supply being better now. They just kind of put that under the rug and giving people bottled water and little filters that they can put on their tap and filtrate their water that way. But I mean, come on, they're slowly but surely trying to, by any means necessary, do what they can to mess up our food supply, our water supply, etc.
Yeah, well, that's a very good strategic strategy, isn't it? Really, at the end of the day, like that is like. I was talking to one of my friends today, and I actually said to him, like, it's really strange the way they're operating right now. It's like they're really trying to suck the life out of people right now. You know what I mean? And I'm not even just talking about on the ground, but like we're saying, like the air. What we're breathing now, like it's ridiculous. We should all really be wearing gas masks.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like that's the level that it's at right now. So yeah, and people, you have to really start stocking up on things. I'm going to tell you every time. Make sure you stock up on things, because things are looking very fishy. You got our president, our prime minister, sorry, over here he was saying this the other day that they got battleships all around UK, and they're going to be
What?
putting up. Yeah, that's what he was saying, and they're going to be putting up because of the threats that we've been getting from. Is it the bear? The bear. So they're also building the missile silos to shoot down stuff, just in case it comes in to out. They're doing all that now. So, but
Right.
people have to understand, like, from what I see from day to day, like we get this information, and that was on the news. You know what I'm trying to say?
Wow.
And people don't really take it serious. Like, I'm not saying like to hear about certain war and them things, they start going crazy. But I'm saying, like, it gets to a point where you have to really open your eyes and link up the dots and say, hold on, this ain't looking really too, you know. And then behind this, and then obviously they use the celebrities to take everyone's mind off off what's going on. And then there's other places getting hit with airstrikes that we don't know about.
Exactly.
So yeah, so we all know that, and I'm not afraid to say it on here at all, that there's an agenda, and they're positioning everything, but it's really funny. I wanted to ask the people, like, do you think that the fight is really with them, or do you think they're together? You know what I mean? Because it's kind of strange, like how they've all got bases at Antarctica. Um, I personally feel that some of those rockets and stuff that they have, it's not even for. I think it's for something incoming from above. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, exactly. There was a meteorite that hit Texas a couple of days ago. And we've been seeing these meteorites being strategically thrown in the air or whatnot. But it's weird because when it comes into impact, you don't see it, like you don't see this light keep going further down to the ground. You see it like in midair, just explode, and then that's it. So what I was listening to was somebody saying that it looks like something else is invisible, that's cloaked, and those meteorites or whatever they are, because they could be meteorites, but they could be some type of other thing we don't know. There's a galactic war going on as well. It's not just a physical human war. There is a galactic war that's going on, and I think it's starting to take place, or we're seeing it. Maybe it's always been there, but we're really now seeing it, the way things are being shown to us through social media. So
yeah, Star Wars, you know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah,
basically.
yeah. You see, there's depending on what you believe in, there's groups out there that actually want to help us, and what you have to understand is that these people down here are not going to let us go without a fight.
Right. And I think that those whatever is leaving or trying to leave, I think that they can't leave. And this is why it looks like meteorites like coming down, but I think that they can't leave what they call the filament. I'm just learning what that is.
Yeah.
But yeah, and which is making sense. And then I spoke to my dad, he's a master teacher, last week, and I was telling him about this, and he's like, I'm gonna tell you something. My dad never worked for the government. He never worked in military or anything like that. But he said some of them that are here are protecting us. And that's why there's a lot of activity going on, because there's other entities that want to.
Are they the Palladians?
I don't know. It could be, but I don't know. I can't say that they are. He's just like they're actually here to protect us. And he's like, along with the angels as well.
Right.
But they can't intercede with certain things, and so the stuff that's going on with them is parallel to what's going on with us. So they got to fight off their own war, and we have to fight our own battle. But they're also here to help, because this is, from what my dad said, was that, millennials and eons ago, is that wherever they were coming from, they had a war, like I said, galactic wars. And coming down here, they could live. And the air was good. You had your food supply here and things like that. So this is why they went underground or wherever they're cloaking themselves at.
Come on, the Draconians, yeah.
Are those the lizard people? So then that would be them.
Yep.
I don't know where the Palladian people fit into all of this, but it's just they're all these people, all these different star people that we've been hearing about, or star entities. It's really coming to fruition. Like it's playing out on a bigger scale now, and some of us are just fortunate enough to be in tuned and tapped in to see things. Some of it is a hoax, like Brother Panera said, with Project Bluebeam. Some of it is going to be shown out to make it look like it's real, but it's really not, Just got to use your discernment on that.
Yeah, or use your common sense on that one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's many stories of. But one thing I will tell people that the lizard people, the draconians, these serpents that can stand up on 2 feet, they've been in many teachings from way back, many books, and they've been in many countries' history, not just one. Many of them, not just China with the dragons and all that, but it's all over the place. You know what I mean? You just go to certain places, you can see them on top of buildings.
Ooh.
You know,
well, that would be like gargoyles then, right? They would look like gargoyles.
now, but gargoyles are supposed to actually protect you from bad spirits. That's the weird thing about it. You know. Yeah,
Yes, I heard that.
I don't know how true that is. You know, but
yeah, that would be weird.
I've never seen that gargoyle film. I did keep meaning to watch it at some point, but they say that gargoyles are supposed to protect. 'Cause there's some people that actually put statues of gargoyles in their front gardens.
Exactly, yeah. Oh, and even where you're at, well, not where you're at, but like in the city there, they have, if you look up on the buildings, you'll see gargoyles.
Yeah.
And that's a sign for them that they were protecting. But they make them so ugly. It's like, really?
Yeah.
What are they protecting? Or they're scaring off the other stuff? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a bit mad still. It's a bit mad.
Yeah. And it's really like, so that's why I don't really know what's really going on. I don't want to tap in too much because it's very overwhelming when, especially you're a person who's like empathic or sensitive and you get overwhelmed by other emotions. You get overwhelmed by what you see. So I just try to like, not really hear too, not really try to get into it. But when my dad, because my dad is very, he's an empath, I would say. And he can pick up on a lot of energy around and stuff like that. And he's very, and that's where I learned about extraterrestrials, was watching documentaries with him since I was a little girl. So I knew about all this stuff when I was like 7, 8, 9 years old.
Right, and I would tell the people as well, when you get into the extraterrestrial thing, it's kind of, you actually kind of learn a lot from it. I actually studied this ET thing years ago myself, just to see what it was all about. And a lot of it does connect up with certain things. So don't look at the UFO thing and the alien thing like it's just like a joke thing, like, you know what I mean? Because it all kind of comes back down to the fallen angels and stuff like that. You know
But I think media, you're right. Like, not to take it lightly, but not to be scared by it either. Because like I just said, that there are some that are here to protect humanity. But, because of the way media has portrayed since the 50s and the late 50s and the 60s, it was always like a joke. It's kind of just like what they did with Black people. Make them look stupid and eat watermelons. That's the same kind of propaganda that they did with UFOs. So now they make it kind of like a funny kind of thing, but it's not. These things, exist. And I wouldn't, if anything, I'm not laughing at them. Like, I got visited in my dream twice, and I was just like,
Would you get
I was more scared. It was the little one.
Oh, the Greys.
I don't know if they're Greys. They presented themselves to be green, but I think that is the Greys. If they're the little ones, then that's the Greys.
The little one with the big eyes.
Yes.
You're lucky. They're the ones that are supposed to kidnap people, innit?
They were. Oh God, yo. Oh God, y'all are gonna think I'm a cuckoo woman, but I tell you, listen. 2 dreams within the past. Huh? What'd you say?
No, go on.
Oh, so
no, carry on.
This is within the past. Okay, we're in 2023. We just got into 2023. So I would say maybe 2020. Okay, so between 2019 and 2021, I've been having a lot of vivid prophetic dreams and things like that. These little things, they do kidnap you. They do kidnap you. And twice they showed themselves to me at my window in my apartment building. And I knew that that's what they were doing because I saw in the other window that they were taking people up into the craft. And so I was able
What?
to grab my kids and run out, grab bags, and I just ran, and I kept going into like basements and hiding so that they wouldn't see. They had one that was on a motorcycle, you know, with the hood over his head, the helmet over his head, and he's just trying to run, you know, drive after us. But we had a car, and those who can escape being taken up into the crafts, they did. And I ended up going east, and we hit I think Mediterranean. I think we were somewhere in there, and then I was like, "Oh, I gotta get back. I gotta get back to Jamaica." I was like, "My grandmother's there. My grandmother has been passed. She's transitioned over 2018, but that's where she's from. That's where her family's from. Is from Jamaica." So I told whoever I was with, I was like, "I gotta get back over there with my kids and get there." And sure enough, I got to Jamaica, and she was sitting with a bunch of women, and they were all wearing white. They were at a table, and they're about to eat. And she was just so happy. She's like, "What are you doing here? What are you doing here?" And I said, "Grandma, there's an invasion, and I gotta get out. I got the kids, but they're fine. They're at the beach right now." And she said, "Okay, well, we're about to have dinner. Sit down and go wash yourself up. We're gonna have dinner. Come sit down with us." And I sat with them, and we were eating, and I just felt at peace. There wasn't any stuff hovering over us. And then my dream just ended. And the second dream was similar, where they were taking people. And they're peeping in, they're looking through my window, seeing if they can find me, seeing if they can find whoever they can take. Man, listen. I tell you. Now it makes sense. When you said that they're supposed to take people, I'm like, then that's exactly what happened in my dream.
They work for the Draconians, apparently. So
then that makes sense.
They don't really come up. They don't come up, so they send them. But they're supposed to be, the Greys are actually supposed to be like engineered by the Draconians. You know what I'm saying? So
wow,
they actually made them to do that. You know what I mean? But then there's
because they look like servants, and these people were just like going through an escalator up from the building up to the ship, and it was at night. Everything happens at night. It wasn't during the day. These guys do this stuff at night. And they went up and they were taking people, and people were just kind of like zombified, like just, I guess they were in a trance or dazed or whatever. Yeah. And they were just going, and I said, "Oh no." I bolted out twice.
Go out of there.
I was out of there. I took my kids, whoever was in my house, because I have 3. So whoever was in my dream at the time in my house, that's who I took out with me. And I've escaped them twice because I saw them. And I was like, And he hovered up on his motorcycle. He hovered from the ground up on his motorcycle to peer into my window.
Why was it on the back?
Because that's how he was getting around to get to other people.
Some Ghost Rider business going on.
Yeah, I mean, it was just crazy. It was a weird, crazy dream. But then I've had, like I said, I was meditating one day. I had Archangel Metatron. I had Shango come visit me in my dream, like a lot of stuff just within the past couple of years. And I'm like, this is bugged out. Like I've always had kind of like lucid dreams or vivid dreams as a child, but this stuff is just way out of my pay grade. The whole pandemic thing, I had a prophecy about that in 2019, the beginning of the year, and towards the end of the year, everything was going just as it was in my dream. And then we shut down, we locked down and everything, even the rioting, even with the guy who got killed, George Floyd. There was a riot in my dream. I didn't understand. It had to do with an undercover cop getting shot in New York City, in Harlem. I mean, Brother Panera, I tell you, I had it all written down in my log, because this was just phenomenal. And I cried when I got out of my dream. I sobbed. I was scared to death. Couldn't understand what it meant. Didn't know what it meant. And sure enough, when everything started happening later in 2019, going into 2020, I was like, "Oh, wow. And it's not something like how do you tell somebody to prepare yourself? Because I didn't know. I couldn't understand what it was. I just knew that my daughter got sick, and they told her, I had my husband go take her to the hospital. They said, "Ma'am, you're going to have to keep her here. We're keeping all the kids quarantined." I said, "Quarantine? For what?" "She's got a fever and a cold." And I worked in the hospital, so I know what I was talking about. They were like, no, we got to do an MRI. I was like, an MRI for a common cold? This was February 15, 2019. So this is the beginning of that whole thing that happened. And I told them, listen, I work in the hospital. No, you don't. I do not consent to my daughter getting an MRI. She does not need it. They still were, fighting me on it. They had her come and put her on a stretcher to bring her downstairs into the radiology department. I saw a doctor that I worked with. I said, can you please let them know that there's no need for an MRI for a common cold? They said, no. They were like, oh, she's good. She's good. Brought my daughter back upstairs. Meanwhile, the whole floor is filled with pediatric patients, Brother Pinero. I mean, it was like what we were seeing play out in 2020. And I'm like, why are all these kids here? Like, what is this all about? They did a test and they said, yeah, we see that it's just a cold. She doesn't have to stay overnight. We don't have to quarantine her. I said, yeah, I know that. Thank you. They said, yeah, but she had a fever, so we had to keep her in just in case she's contagious. The dream started off in the summertime, went into the wintertime. What happened with George Floyd? George Floyd started the beginning of the summer, May of 2020, right? And then the whole thing, that whole lockdown and stuff took us into the wintertime. That's exactly how my dream played out, from the summer to the winter. The rioting and all that stuff, everything, looting, all of that, everything that we saw on TV played out in this dream months before it happened. And how can I tell anybody? I told my family, but I don't know how to warn somebody about that. That was just crazy.
Mad.
Yeah. So, if people are having these kind of things, I would just, write them down, try to decipher them and talk to your, friends and family, because there are going to be more people who are going to have a lot more of these in-depth type of dreams. You could be seeing stuff in broad daylight. Forget about a dream. That's just how that's how they communicate to me. But some people could be in broad daylight being communicated to. So, you just gotta like take a moment, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening. And entertainment is here to distract us from that, because there's a lot of people that are catching up, that are in tune, that are awakening or are awoken, and they want to put the lid on it and they can't.
Yeah. They don't want people to, and most of the time as well, when you're someone that sees certain things, what they do, they section you off, so
that's right.
If you went into the police station and said you saw aliens, you might have to see a doctor.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's how it goes. But yeah, man, so a lot of things going on, people.
So have you been seeing any stuff over there by you? Any
creepy stuff?
Yeah, any creepy stuff?
No, but I have been watching a few videos on the internet, and there's been a lot of people on TikTok that have been seeing funny stuff in their houses lately.
Ooh.
And it's really kind of sad, because these people, by watching their reaction to what they're filming and stuff like that, it's like I can tell that they need to get their frequencies up a little bit, because the way they reacted, it definitely showed me that they're not ready to see certain things. If I'm not saying that it wouldn't creep you out a bit if you saw something run across your bedroom,
right,
or your living room. I'm not saying it's not creepy, but the reactions was kind of like, they don't know, like these things are possible, innit? Like we've been trying to tell you people for a long time. There really is a spirit world, innit? Like, you know what I mean? And
right.
Some of these creatures in the spirit world, they like to try and manipulate people. They like to piss people off. Sometimes when you can't find something in your house, like you might have put your keys somewhere, you put your keys there, or your AirPods or whatever.
Right.
And it's not there. That they can actually move your things around, you know what I mean? To make you feel like you're going mad in your head.
Right. Trickster energy.
Yeah, trickster. They'll be laughing, you know what I mean, in their spirit form. So yeah, there's a lot of things. I haven't seen nothing personally. Like, I used to see the shadow people.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard about the shadow.
I've heard of them.
I've seen them. My dreams are out of this world. you know, I was always thinking, how could I do like a dream video and discuss my dreams? But I didn't say before that some of them, I just find dreams a little bit personal, but I can
Right.
talk about some of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, but I've had dreams of FEMA camps. I've had dreams that I've been in the FEMA camp,
Mm.
and I've had to find a way to get out before the end of the dream. I always seem to end up getting out. You know, most of the
Mhm.
FEMA camps that that I was in were mainly primary schools that I remember from as a kid.
Wow.
They was all in the primary schools, and the only reason why I knew about these primary schools, even though I never went to all of them, is
Mm-hmm.
because I used to play football for the primary school. So we used to actually go to the other schools and play five-a-side football against the other teams, and that's how I knew what it looked like. And you know,
Mm.
I have these dreams a lot. I could have one tonight. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, they're not that pleasant sometimes, because sometimes I could be dreaming, and when I drift into deep sleep, I could wake up like in a cell, and I'm like, shit, I'm in jail.
Mm.
Yeah, do
And
you
it
understand
feels
what I'm
very
saying?
real.
Yeah, because I've been in prison before,
Mm.
twice, twice.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Short skip bids, but I've been twice, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I feel like I'm there, but then I realize, hold on, I'm not here. Big up Prezi Love, man. Big up Mystery. I see you, Annabelle Rastro, Archie. Big up
Salute.
yourself. But yeah, so and everyone hit the like button so more people can jump in. We're gonna try and build up this show. I'm gonna be sticking it on Spotify and all them things there as well. But yeah, so I do have some off keys, but I haven't had any dreams lately of me battling with the soldiers, which,
Mm. Okay.
which is quite
Yeah.
interesting, because usually I'm battling with them, but I haven't had any dreams like that. My dreams have actually been I've been in control, like you understand what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
lately, I've been in full control of my dreams,
Yeah. Me
as in
too.
nothing's happening to me, if you know what I mean. Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, I'm in control. I'm just living in the other world,
Right.
because some people actually believe that the dream world. There's a group of people that actually believe that the dream world is actually the real world,
Mm.
and this world we're actually sleeping.
Ooh. Mm.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. It's almost sounding Matrix like the movie. I don't know. You know, that's a weird concept, but I mean, if they feel that way, I mean, I just got to say that the dream state is definitely real in the sense of things can happen, just like in the real world in
Yeah.
quotations. But I don't. That's definitely a different concept, and I've never heard of anybody say that before. But um, you know, for me, the dream world, like I said, this is where they can communicate to me more. I guess I'm very wired during the day, so they don't really tap into me. Sometimes like the top of my head itches, like it gets tingly and stuff. So I know somebody's around or it's like an angel. But usually the best time that they catch me is when I am sleeping. So they communicate through that way. And that's, for me, it's real. I mean, my grandmother passed away in 2018. At one point at her house, I couldn't believe that she was back home, and I couldn't decipher whether I was in a dream state or was it real. It was just so real for me. And I said, if this is real, and she just got out of the bathroom, there better be a wet spot on the carpet. And all of a sudden, Brother Panero, a wet spot started to come up, and that's when I knew I can control the dream now. So
Mm,
that's within the past couple of years. So there's definitely this awakening, and what happened is that people, with certain government things like CERN and opening up portals and rituals, that people are now wanting to, become witches, or they think they're a witch, and they're doing all these rituals on certain days, like 11/11, 8/8 portal, ten
right.
ten, equinoxes, and uh, blood moons, all this within the past couple of years is enhanced and heightened the spiritual world, so that now they say the veil is thin, and they're coming on the other side. So yeah, you're going to be seeing stuff from the corner of your eye and be like, shit, was that what I thought it was? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. That's exactly what you saw. Whatever you thought you were seeing, your mind is not playing tricks on you. Mm-hmm.
Have you seen any type of creatures in your dreams?
But only those little goblin things, those little aliens that came by. That was it.
Yeah, just that one. Hey, Prezi Love says the dream state is the second stimulation.
That I can agree with. Absolutely.
A lot of people feel that though. Like they feel that. Like I've heard people say, also the dream state is like practice for the afterlife.
I can agree with as well, for sure.
That's kind of interesting to me, because when I think about that, I think about some of the things that I can do in my dream. I can't do them in this body. I can fly.
Exactly.
I can't fly all the time, but I can fly.
Yeah, I fly. I leap. Yeah, and I've been to other parts of the world that I've never been to, and I'm there, and that shit feels real.
I don't have a mobile phone. I don't care about one.
Right.
It's really strange. I don't know if anyone in the comments could understand where I'm coming from. Like when I dream, I don't even go in my pocket to look for my phone, which I think is really nuts. Because the way that we use phones now, it's like when I'm dreaming, I don't even go in my pocket or try to reach for the phone to even call anybody.
Right.
Which is very strange. But what makes sense to me is that, if my spirit wasn't in my body, I wouldn't have a phone, would I? So maybe that's why, innit? Maybe it is training for the second side. And what did he say here? He said there's no difference apart from clarity, which is true. Talking about visual clarity, yeah?
Yeah.
That is so true. And sometimes my dreams are clear as day.
Exactly.
HD, you know what I mean?
Right.
And sometimes, I know what you're saying, sometimes the clarity can be a bit.
Because some things, like, and then you try to rule out, all right, was it something that I ate? Because they tell you don't eat like pork chops, pizza, and chocolate before you go to sleep, because that can alter, your dream state. Or if you're listening to something on TV, that can, trigger into your dream. Or if you're stressed out, like I am one of those type of people that I'm analytical in that way, because I've always been in this part of this community of dreams, astrology, and all that. Like I said, my father and my mother were the best teachers, because they introduced me to all that stuff. I knew about astrology when I was 11 years old. Love matches. Oh, I'm a Cancer. Do I work well with a Libra? Like, I'm going through all of that stuff. My mother's showing me, reading that stuff to me. So I've always been.
That's why what you're doing now, yeah. That's why.
Yeah, and her. So unbeknownst to me, her great grandmother is where I'm getting all this ability, with reading the cards, because she used to do tea leaf readings, and she used to do spiritual baths. She left Grenada and came to Brooklyn, New York, and one of her clients was the president of Domino Sugar Company, world famous Domino Sugar. So I didn't know all that stuff until last year. And I was like, well, that makes sense, because I wasn't into tarot cards at all. That to us, that's the devil's work. We didn't touch that stuff. And it was really just a fluke, like honestly, a fluke of nature. Like, it was just weird that where I was at in a bookstore and standing online, and at the end of the line there's this little tarot cards. And I'm like, what? I'll just pick them up, for shits and giggles. Nothing serious. 2 years later, here I am. Not even 3 years. So it is your DNA. If there's people who are gifted and they do have some type of ability, it's going to carry on through the genes into the offsprings.
Yeah.
And, you know, this is why my mom is like, now her mother is the one who passed away. And my grandmother wasn't into all that stuff. She was, you know, she was a Christian woman, but she was just like a skeptic. Like, she don't believe that stuff. And I'm like, Grandma, but you witnessed some supernatural things. Like, what are you talking about that you don't believe? What? And now she comes through and, you know, yeah, it prepares you for that afterlife. You know, your body is semi dead when you're sleeping. You know, you are unconscious, and you can travel in other worlds and other dimensions.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've been to a couple places. Shows Anna says my dreams show me that I know people before I meet them. I've had that a few times myself.
Mm-hmm.
And you're thinking, where have I seen this person before?
Right.
You know, and you really can't put your finger, but you swear down, you know, and then yeah, that's happened with me. Even females that I've met.
I'm sure, Brother Panero. Okay. So Keisha says hi. You scroll up a little bit more. She came through to say hi to us.
Keisha, big up yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a definite, you know, and once you have somewhat control of that, it's not so weird or pseudo, and you know, you can definitely, I'm not good enough to know, okay, I'm going to sleep and I'm gonna dream about this. Some people can know automatically when I go to sleep, this is what I'm gonna be dreaming about. I haven't gotten to that level yet.
No, I can't do that. I've tried it, but you know,
Have you?
I'm not able. Yeah, I've tried to, like, because they say that if you try to remember certain things before you go to sleep, because some guy was saying that that's what he does, in it. He tries to remember certain things. So I tried it. It doesn't work for me. I get planted like quantum leap. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. I don't know where I'm gonna be. You know?
Yeah, they're like, nah.
Yeah, but no, not like quantum leap. Pause. Because quantum leap becoming back like women sometimes, isn't it? Now, not like that.
Oh,
pause.
I love that show.
Yeah, I used to like that show as well. That was a top show. That was way before its time. That show.
Exactly. Can you imagine
why they haven't
that?
done a new version. They should have done a new version.
Yes,
I thought
they
would have
have
done a new version a long time ago. Well, they
did. Yeah.
I bet it was shit, innit? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch it because I was like, this is not what I remember. Because they made the guy a girl, the hologram guy. They made him a girl.
Oh, okay.
The main character they made, he's Asian, which is just fine. I'm just saying, but they like, you know, and it doesn't really stick too much to the story. It does, but then it doesn't. So I was just like, nah, I'm not watching this crap. I would just rather watch the original.
Yeah, the original. So the people out there, if you don't know what Quantum Leap is, it's about a guy that they made a time machine or something. I think the original story was they made a time machine, but he got kind of stuck in it or something, innit? Or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. It's a government kind of thing too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's way before its time. And this guy would be jumping to different places, like he would like
different timelines.
Yeah, and he's got to help a family out, and then right at the end when he's helped them, he's jumped somewhere else. But yeah, like I said, he can.
And he has like a hologram guy come in to help him. Yeah, he's a guide, and he has like the computer. He has an iPhone. Like if you look at it, he's got like an iPhone, and he's talking to the motherboard, which is you know, the office. Yeah, like Jumper, and it's a dope show, and definitely before his time. And he has to. Jumper. Yeah, he has to get out of he has to help one particular family or whatever and then get out because he's trying to get back home, and he the only way he can do that, I don't know if he has to complete those missions, but he's trying to get back to his present time, and it takes him all the way, you know, somewhere in the 1920s, 30s, 50s, 60s, like he goes all over the place. A really, really good show, you guys. I don't know if it's on
it must be on YouTube somewhere. It must be.
Yeah. You could just look at the trailer, go on YouTube, and then type in Quantum Leap. It's really a good sci-fi show, and definitely, like Brother Panero said, is before its time.
Way before. Yeah, way before. Like Universal Soldiers, that was before its time too. With Dolph Lundgren. I didn't see
that. That's what Dolph Lundgren was.
Yeah, that was like super soldiers, innit? They were like dead soldiers being brought back. and you know, put back with certain strength and them thing there, and
Mm,
sent back out. You know what I'm trying to say? Like a type of cloning, but different. You know what I'm trying to say?
mm.
Yeah. But that's why they shut them things down anyway. But you know, I think there was
See?
a couple of them films like 1 to 4 or 5, but I didn't watch the rest of them. They were shit. You know what I mean?
Usually.
Yeah, the first one was a classic. The first one with Dolph Lundgren and Van Damme was a classic.
Right. You know, here's my take, and I just came to this revelation maybe about a couple of weeks ago that they finally caught up to all the technology that they were in showing us back in the late 50s.
Right.
Because one of my favorite shows is The Twilight Zone.
Oh, it's me
Um,
too. And
oh
what about the Outer Limits as well?
yes,
Right. Now you're
The
talking.
Outer Limits. There's another one
The-
called Beyond Belief or something like that. But it's just so bugged out to me that now they've, we were talking about this earlier, not earlier, but a couple of lives ago, as regards to the cartoon show The Jetsons, and
yeah, we're
how
talking about
everything
that.
was so technology, and now we're
Yeah.
hitting at that level right now. So these people, I don't know. Somebody said yesterday, I was watching her live, and she said that we are the future, and no, we're the past, and all that stuff was the future.
Mm,
The ancient the Aztecs and the Incas and all that stuff, that civilization, all that stuff was the future.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
she said, now we're sitting in a paradox where you can see the future, the present, and the past all
Hmm.
playing out. And
All
I
playing
was
at the
like,
same time. Yeah.
damn, that's
That's deep.
crazy.
It's deep. Yeah. It's deep.
Salute, salute.
Yeah, my brother Shipper, big up
Whoa,
yourself, man.
salute, Shippa.
Well, go on,
What's going
sis.
on,
You
brother?
good? They are family. Yeah, they are.
I know. What's Belly Vision saying over there, Ship? I see you going hard.
Oh shoot, Very
Pause.
Vision got pause. But Very Vision, you got a lesson the other day. Still, you got a lesson still. I'll be honest. I feel like some of the brothers, yeah, they kind of they've warped their perspective with Western ideologies and Western science, and they think that it's some kind of protection against reality. And unfortunately, I had to give the guy a lesson in, guarding yourself properly,
Mm,
just like that. Because when you don't guard yourself properly, you leave yourself open to certain attacks. And I think,
right.
like,
Yep.
even what Foxy said, yeah,
We
like,
was
you see
talking
what you
about that
said about,
earlier. We talking about that earlier, but differently when it come to the ghost and the ghost in the yard and them thing there. It's the same type of thing. If you not got that spiritual knowledge, you ain't gonna be able to protect yourself. But go ahead, Ship.
that's right. But what Foxy was saying about the past and the present and the future and all of them things now, yeah.
Hmm.
Mm,
I think what I would like to say on that is maybe it's not all this. Maybe it's not as clear cut as she was making it out. Maybe it's more a thing of there was a time where we was adhering to divine law, yeah, and natural
Mm.
law, yeah, and we was more interested in spiritual stuff. And maybe the type of technology that we're using now doesn't
mm,
it doesn't allow for that. So it could
mm.
never be on the same level. Does that make sense? Even like what I was
Hmm.
trying to explain to Veli Vision was when you're dealing with science, you're dealing with knowledge and evidence and proof and all sorts of nonsense that it's just not on the level of what religion is dealing with. Because when you're
Right.
dealing with canon and you're dealing with religion, you're dealing with gnosis, you're dealing with something that is
Yeah.
unimpeachable. And once he got
Yeah.
the idea of that, it's like he didn't know where to go. He was confused.
Yeah.
He had
Yeah.
to agree to science being a religion, basically,
Yeah. What's it
in
called
other
again?
words.
What's the one that Tom Cruise? What's the one that Tom Cruise? What's it called again?
Scientologists.
Scientologist. That's it. Yeah. Well,
Mm.
that's the proof in itself, isn't it? What they're really on. That ain't
Well,
really got not much. Yeah.
this is the dumb thing about what he was saying, because I think he really flipping, he's into this science stuff, innit? But
Yeah.
for a man who's really into his science, how have you not looked up what evidence is? Evidence is something that is subjective, first and foremost. Proof, yeah, and evidence are both reliant upon belief. Because proof requires an observer, just like evidence. And the observer can always make a mistake, or the observer could be restricted to a set of parameters that won't allow him to obtain the real truth.
Right.
That's deep shit for a while.
Come on, man. Come on, man. We gotta be deep out here, man.
You just dropped some jewels on the floor. I need to pick those up.
So what's Veli's views on God?
Well,
even though Veli's my brethren, I've known Veli since I was like 8 years old. But what's his views on God though? I know he doesn't really do the God thing.
From what he said, he's an atheist. He does not believe that the so basically this was his argument. His argument was, can science debunk the creation story? Now, what I'm trying to say to the brother is, you can't debunk something with a theory. That doesn't make sense. If you was bringing something higher than science, yeah, or some unequivocal proof, then yeah, but science is not that. So it was like the premise to his question was wrong, and then that kind of shows where his belief's at. His belief is in something that he's not sure about. He don't even know if he really believes, because he can't even admit to believe in it. He calls it truth and knowledge and all sorts of things that, and even truth. This is another thing. It's like, when we're dealing with truth, we have to really understand what truth is, you know, because one person's truth is another person's lie.
Right.
So, like that,
wait, so Brother Schiffer, so that means that there's really not going to be a truth. Like somewhere along the line, there's a gray area when it comes to truth.
Well, sis, I'm going to be honest with you, yeah? This is why...
I'm on the... Say people. Yeah, big up everybody, man.
Yo, big up, man. Big up, brother.
Yes, De Niro. Yes, Foxy.
Yes, brother.
Yes, big up, family. Big up.
Nice to have you, brother.
So, sis, what I was saying to you is, yeah, this is why it's very important to really understand what things are and what we're dealing with, because a lot of people, like I said, they look at religion and they think it's just a religious book. It's just this, it's just that. But now, when we get into it, like I said, when we're dealing with the law is unimpeachable. Everybody agrees to the law. Even people who might say, you know what, they might even be against the government. Yeah. But they're not against the law. Everyone agrees to the law. So that shows you the law is perfect. And that shows you, like, maybe these people have set these traps for us, innit? You know, to get us trapped in their science and their ways of thinking, innit? To take us away from the spiritual way of thinking, to take us away from higher processes of thought. Because if you're in higher processes of thought, then what's going to happen is whatever constructs they try and build up around you, you're going to tear those walls down. Because remember, these walls are invisible walls. Yeah, they don't exist. But the only way they exist is when you step away from your divine creation and you step away from your natural being.
100%, brother. That's what they constantly trying to get us to do. And that's why part of a belief. I feel like, for example, without interrupting and being rude yet.
No, fair enough, bro.
I feel like, for example, as you were saying, bro, the belief system alone, that's a flawed thing. You know what I mean? We know, for example, the ultimate power, for example, and how we was even able to communicate, you know, from distances and all these type of things, these things that we call psychic abilities and that, you know what I mean? We didn't have no belief system. These are things that we had the power of, and we knew how to use it, you know? And we was in the know. You understand?
Talking about 100, I get you. I think that there's a point here to say though, yeah, I'll be honest with you. If we knew where we was at, then we would have to accept that the divine is real. And once we can accept that the divine is real, then we can accept that there's certain parts of your brain, yeah, that you're not going to be able to tap into until you destroy certain constructs that are being constructed around you. Once you've done that, then technically you've got more of a, it would be more real at that point to say, do you know what, I've got all the information now, I've obtained all of the stuff that I need to obtain to say, do you know what, this thing's real, it's not real. Now, you see,
you automatically tap into that consciousness anyway. You know, you come into a different space of awareness, like once you get rid of the programming, the crap programming, you know what I mean?
Now, brother, this is where I'm going with this now. What I'm saying to you is now, once you step it out of the civil world into the real world, that's when things become real. That's when you're gonna value your. This is why, like, for instance, I've heard someone say this: if you're a Freemason, they still got to be a part of a religion. Because you see, if you ever peel back the veil fully, you're fully gonna have to arm yourself. And there's only one thing you can arm yourself with in the real world. In the real world, it's cannons. Because we like to talk about gun, like gun is the biggest weapon, the worst weapon on the planet. No, the real weapons are cannons, and these cannons are powerful, brother. And if you haven't armed yourself with the right cannons, you could fall short of the war. Now your vessel's at jeopardy. Do you understand? Because you're under fire constantly. The moment you become awakened and they know who you are and they know who you are, you got to guard and arm yourself. And if you ain't got no cannons to guard and arm yourself with, all you got is your own natural ingenuity. And at some point, that's going to fall short of divinity. Do you feel where I'm coming from with this? You see it? And then remember, if a man is getting his ammunition and his cannons from divine sources, yeah, that's like if you read a Bible, yeah, or if you're into Sumerian or Egyptian stuff, that's like a man having the help of the Anunnaki, and you're just you on your own fighting them. Now you're gonna be in trouble, bro. Or like a man having the help of Thoth and Osiris and what's the other one? Horus and all that. They got all of this help from all of these deities, and just you one fighting back. It's gonna be hard workers. So this is why it's important to have your cannons ready. Because as long as your cannons are ready, then when they try to fire at you, they're gonna look at your ship and they're gonna say, do you know what? His ship has got 20 cannons on each side. Our ships have only got 3 cannons on each side. I ain't fighting that battle. I'm gonna keep it moving. You see it? Just like when you're on the road.
Just by looking at you, you understand? They know say your aura is heavy. You have to have your spiritual warfare, your spiritual suit on. You dig?
Come on, brother.
Yes. So they know say just by looking at you, you're not even nothing to play with.
Come on, fam.
That's how it should be. That's the truth. You know.
That's how it's gotta be, cousin. This is why I'm saying that obviously we call it religion, innit? But really what it's called is spirituality. Because if I go into any spiritual system, every spiritual system is where we're gonna find the root of all the laws. And all of them can agree on the law. So if all of them can agree on the law, that means all of them have got the truth to some extent.
100%.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, just different interpretations, right?
Yeah, and you just got to know how. When you say the same thing, not necessarily the same thing, but the same laws. Because, you know, if I go into one spiritual system to another, I'm going to find different deities, different names, and different routes of getting to the same thing, the law. But that's what it's about. It's about laying the law down. It's about knowing the it's like when you got a child. Your child's got to know the what is it called?
The principle,
the ranking system. The rank. What's the ranking system called again? What do they call it again?
The rank status.
The hierarchy. You know, like that. They got to know the status. Like in comparison to an adult and a child, they got to know these things. And this is what society is built on. Because think about it like this: in your society, in my society, in every society around this world, as far as the government's concerned, you're a child of their government. So you as their child, you can't tell them nothing. But the moment you're not a child no more, the moment you grow up, you notice your parents can't deal with you the same. And that's what we're supposed to be doing. But they put roadblocks in the way to stop us from growing. Do you know, like that? Yeah.
But this is something that's passed on generation to generation, because, you know, it's taught to our parents, you know, and our parents kind of install it into us, you know, the fear factor, for example, you know, and you know, just a lot of the programming, for example, that we've been put under, you know what I mean? The education system, the school system. As you said, I heard you briefly say, bro, earlier about, you know, how we've got a westernized way of thinking, and that's just a one-way way of doing things, you know. We're forever infinity dimensional, you know what I mean? So it gets to the point where you say, oh, we have to take our power back and understand that, first of all, you know what I mean? It's not just one way, it's infinity ways to do this thing, you know?
Well, certain things are supposed to be standard. Like, you see, like how before you went out of the house to go and do your own thing as a teenager, your parents had to make sure you knew and understood the law. They taught you, don't thief, don't do this, don't do that. You knew all the things not to do in it. So that's like your armor. That's like part of the canon. When you go into the Bible, you're gonna find it. Don't steal, don't thief, don't kill. You're gonna find it. Commandments, all of these things. So once I put that in perspective, then whoever's ruling the place, whoever's governing over you, how could they be using anything different? You feel what I'm trying to say? So what authenticates them more than you? Nothing. Do you feel what I'm coming from?
You got a point. It's true. Just the teachings and awareness. That's why I think education is key, because the more ground you cover when it comes to, you know, proper know-how, knowledge, proper, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you're how can I say, you're armored up, innit? You know what I mean? You're less likely to get spiritually attacked and interfered with, you know what I mean?
Well, think about it like this. Back in the day, if you was a Christian back then, going back medieval times, they weren't teaching them how to read, you know, because they didn't want no one weren't supposed to be deciphering canons and empowering themselves. Because if someone could decipher canons and empower themselves, now they can talk back. Now they can tell you the law. Now they become dangerous. So it was like, we're just not going to let them read. But now we're in a world where everyone has to be educated and they want everyone to read. How are they going to stop you from understanding that these things empower you? They're going to put it into a different bracket. They're not going to make it seem like what it is. They're going to tell you the law is their law. They're going to tell you the law is all of these codes and acts and all of these things they're putting onto you. But really and truthfully, if you knew that what the law really was, then they couldn't enforce that on you, brother. That's the truth.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. You got a point. You have a point.
That's why I was saying, Brother Schiffer, that earlier is that, you know, now they got the lid. They trying to contain us, and now that the lid is popped off, you can't contain us, because there's things that we know.
You know what I'm gonna do, I gotta take a phone call quickly. I'm really supposed to be in my bed, but I'm gonna arrive back in 5 minutes. I'm gonna show you lot something real quick.
Yes, brother. Yes.
Give me 2 seconds.
Because it's like our memory is coming back, you know what I mean? And with our memory of our DNA and all these things, because we're getting shown it as well. We gather our power back, you know what I mean? And our intellect, you know what I mean? So it's a beautiful, crazy time we're in, isn't it, people?
Yeah, exactly.
But a powerful time, that's for sure as well, you know? There's a lot of things going on in front of us and behind closed doors, so.
Definitely, man. The awakening is amazing still, you know what I mean? But then it's like what?
It's like Mother Gaia is going through labor. And in labor, it's pains. If any woman has been pregnant and understands what those feelings are, and men, you don't, but I'm going to tell you, they are excruciating. You can't stand it. If you've seen your woman boil over and cry and hold her stomach and she's hurting, it is painful.
Yeah, any men out there that haven't experienced that, like when you hopefully, like, I'm not saying to go out there and have babies, but like when your partner is pregnant, make sure you don't miss that opportunity, because it's different.
You really don't. You need to be there. And what I'm saying is that the earth is doing just that. She's going through these labor pains. She's going to expel the toxins, whether it's people and other byproducts that don't resonate with her system.
Yes, Queen.
She's going to expel that. And after she gives birth, that's not a pretty scene either, right? The beautiful thing is the child, but the blood and everything in it isn't. Yes. And there's going to be bloodshed. And then you'll have the resurrection, and beautiful things will come out of Mother Gaia giving birth, expelling and shaking off all these parasites that are trying to, defecate on her.
Right.
She's expelling it.
For real.
I'm learning.
Yeah, I mean, this is why certain things. This is why you got to look at certain things are not just man and it's CERN and this, that, and the third. No, some of this really is. She's tired of your BS, and the kids that was acting up, she's going to come off. She's going to start smacking some people upside their head. She's really tired of the nonsense. She's tired of you polluting. She's tired of you taking advantage. Listen, you were brought onto this world to take care of it.
Right.
This isn't yours. This isn't yours.
That's right. That's where the divine entities come in.
Thank you, brother. Right.
Because that's who owns the planet. And no man can't own a blade of grass. Yeah, it can only be given to you. It can only be awarded to you. Do you understand?
Right. So, and this is what I know. You know, in a realm like now today, women have always run this world. You understand? Men play their major part, but women have always run this thing, All of our energy is based off a woman. You know what I mean?
You see what you say? Yeah,
it's based off a woman. Let's have it correct.
Yes, yes. In this modern day and age, in the world we live in now. But I'm gonna be honest with you, brother. Yeah, not so much. For this reason, I'm gonna tell you why. Yeah. So I worked this out over the last week. Yeah, I had to think about this one. Like, you see, a man. Yeah. A man, has billions of living entities swimming around within his semen.
True, brother.
Now check the terminology. Semen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that's like having a ship. Now do you see the reference to cannons now, brother? Because the cannons are guarding the ship. Yeah, 100%. But remember, a woman does not produce semen. Yeah, so to that effect, you see, like when you read the Bible and it says the Bible was going to make certain man a great nation. That's what it meant. You understand? Because you carry the seed of a nation within you. And 100%. Don't get me wrong, the woman is important because the woman is the incubator. So she carries the housing. She is the housing and carries the housing on top of that. Because remember, the sperm enters the egg.
It's the both. Yeah, it's the both, bro. It's exactly, but it's the both. We've got a portal. They have a portal. You know, we are the incubators of them at the very beginning, and the holders of them. But at the same time, they are too. You know, so. When you said portal,
when you said the portal, I agree. Because the portal is the woman. She is the portal. We're not the portal. All we're doing is we're putting the key into the portal.
Yes, King,
and
but
the key is that living entity.
They are the how can I say, the final portal. So you could say almost like the
way into this realm.
Right.
Yes, they are the you know what I mean? They're
the waters that we're birthed in through. So like I said, when I make the reference to ships, like ships at sea, remember you're birthed through waters. So when this ship comes through the waters, guess what it needs? When you make a new ship, guess what you need to do? You need to arm the new ship. You need to make sure it's got the correct armor. Then when the ship gets to, its finished article, when it's finished being built, and now the ship is an adult, this ship's gonna need some cannons because armor ain't enough in this world.
But broski, just food for thought, yeah. Everyone, just food for thought. A bit random. We are the portal too. A man's phallus, or penis is a portal too. Yeah. Just look at a worm. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Look at a worm. What do they call a wormhole? What is a wormhole, people?
It's a portal.
Thank you. So
is that what it's called? Yeah.
Yes, man. Yes, big brother. That's what they call a portal. That's another term for a portal. You get me? As a wormhole.
Oh. Yes. No, right. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. When you put it like that, that definitely makes sense.
Yeah. Yes, King. Yes. So we are a portal too, but they are the ultimate portal, is what I was meant to say. I mean.
Well,
yeah, because obviously we're gonna portal a being from inside of our realm into the
That's it.
female's realm,
Into the
and then
female, and then
she's
they
gonna
bring
pull
it
all them
into
into this realm.
right.
I get you.
So,
Yeah,
we
makes sense.
we can't do
yes, sir.
one without the other. We cannot. That's against nature. You need to have a man and a woman procreate to build nations.
Yes.
Mother, woman is though the first teacher, right? And the first nurturer before she goes to father, before the child goes to father, where father then raises up the child to be a soldier or whatever. If it's a female, then mother still takes care of that child, right? But we cannot do nothing without the other. We need each other.
That's the truth.
And that's a fact. But sis, I want to show you something, yeah, because you said nations, and when the way you said nations would denote multiple people. But if you actually understand the word nation, nation can mean you. You can be a nation, yeah. Now, in the sense that I said it, yeah, when I said that obviously a man is carrying all these living entities within himself, so he's already a nation. But there's a reason why you're a nation in this day and age as well, because you are also more than one person. So I don't know if Pinero can do screen share, but I wanted to bring something up on the screen. Can you do screen share, Pinero? Yo, Pinero. Yo, Pinero.
You did it, bro.
He may have some internet connections because we had that earlier.
Okay, either that or he's on the phone or something. I tell you what you do, yeah?
Yes,
if you go on Google, yeah, if you go on Google, there's a thing called the Keskavi Act, yeah?
Okay.
Do you want me to spell it for you?
Yeah, hold on a second. Okay, go ahead.
So C for Charlie, E for Echo, S for Sun, T for Tango, yeah? That's the first word. Then the next word is Q for Queen, U for Unicorn.
Oh,
I
yes.
Indigo, Keskavi Act. Yeah, can you find it? Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
all right. So you see, once you understand this document here, yeah, what we're understanding now is that you're two people. You're you, and you see your birth certificate.
I knew you were going to come with that.
Your birth certificate qualifies as a person. So you're not persons,
right.
You are persons, multiple.
Right. That's what they do with these corporations.
Right, like the United States is a corporation, and when your birth certificate and your social security bonds you in with them, so now you're working with them as you're being born.
But check the word corporation. Yeah, if I said a body of paperworks now, within them corporations now, yeah, you'd be calling it a corpus. Now, if I said the word corpse, which is the root word of the etymology of these words, what's a corpse?
That's dead.
Dead entity. So, that's what they use, the dead entity name, and they do that.
There you go. So once you read that Keskavi Act, that's going to tell you that all citizens are dead souls at sea. So
and it's not just citizens. And then when we hear especially in America, they love to use that word black, right? But when you look up the word black, civilly speaking, it's dead. You're dead in the eyes of the government.
Yes. It's like the same. That could be a layer. That's the same terminology they use for when you're in debt as well. You know what I mean? They say you're in the black, for example. All these type of things. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, that could be a layer as well. But I would suggest to you that it don't matter if you're black or white. Michael Jackson told us. He told the truth. Because listen, you see when you read that act, when you read that act, you're gonna know that citizens are dead at sea. Now, this is an act that was enacted on the British people in 1666. Now, for you as an American person to be a citizen, and not be living in the British Isles, guess what that means? Because you're under common law, right?
Now, some of us are. Not all of us. And that's the crazy thing, because some states
No,
are
no, no, no,
coming.
no, 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 no. You see, when you say, hold on, when you say common law, what do you mean you're not under? I mean, your government is sworn in under common law, your constitution.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you see where I'm going with this now? So
Mhm.
you as a citizen are not under that common law. You're under the law of the land, or the statutes and the acts, the government's laws, yeah? Because
Right.
you're a citizen of the government. But the government is sworn in under common law. Guess what that means?
I have no
You're
idea.
under British law.
Oh yeah, yes.
If you're
Yeah,
under British,
we work for the crown. The
all right,
citizens work for the
there you
crown.
go. If you're under British law, then that means you're under British rule.
Right.
So all of that stuff about flipping, what was it when they was the red coats and blue coats and all of this flipping, I can't remember what they call it. What do they call it when they was fighting with the British?
Political foolishness. That's what them call it.
Right.
Whatever the hell they call it. They call it some, I can't remember what they call it. There's a particular name for it, where they thought they won their freedom. Yeah. And they fought the British.
The revolution.
The revolution. There weren't no revolution. What are you talking about? Revolution was a farce. Because guess what? You're still under the thumb.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah. The issue that some fundamental or foundational Black Americans want to talk about here in the States is they want reparations.
Right.
Well, first of
That's not
all,
going to happen.
that's
not
not
going to
gonna
happen.
be-
It's similar over here sometimes. See, I hear the attitude over here sometimes, and I think to myself, what reparations? What are you talking about?
and from whom are you getting it from? Because guess what?
Thank you.
The same people that
better be
sold
taking that back.
your family out to slavery.
You think they're gonna be giving you anything back? You're going crazy. You better be taking something back. How could you even be asking for reparation? That sounds like I don't even want to go deep, but that sounds like a beggar.
No, do you know what, brother? Do you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you, yeah. No, they're gonna get something. I believe they're gonna get something. Remember, they got this new thing going on now, yeah. And I believe there's a possibility that they could get something. But I believe what they're asking for is the wrong thing. Because, say, like for instance, you had a family member who died at work, yeah. You could make a claim for compensation, yeah, for pain and suffering and all sorts of things, yeah. Now, a claim like that makes sense. On top of that claim, there could be a claim for unlawful conduct, because when you render a human being to the condition of, or to the status of an animal, yeah, there's actually laws against that from before slavery. So all you'd have to do is enact one of those laws, and then anyone who's now got family members from that lifestyle and can prove it, then you are owed something, innit? You could make a claim that way. But I think when we say reparations in the sense of, you know, putting us into slavery and, you know, and the addition of all the other things I said on top of that, it becomes a difficult argument because you see
almost a little bit, not comical, but sorry, let me not until you finish.
I'm gonna break it down like this. You got a certain nationality of people, yeah, that's like they went through a Holocaust, not like what black people went through, but they went through their own Holocaust, yeah, and they got a payment. But guess what? They are a recognizable nation of people. Right. When you say black is not a recognizable nation of people, and unfortunately, what they've done to black people is they bamboozled us into following their cults and not sticking to our own guns. You know, when they say stick to your guns, now we're right back in the cannons. Now the problem black people have is that, you know what? We get bogged down in, I believe this, you believe that. We're not concerned with which one emancipates us. We're not concerned with saying, you know what, really and truthfully, all of us under this banner can be emancipated. And there's only really one way for black people to go. And I'll tell you the reason I say this, yeah? Because unfortunately, all of our teaching, everything that we know, where the laws are coming from, was hijacked from us, and it was made out that someone else was running with it. So now we even say, you know what, we might even say that's the white man's book. And I know you know where I'm going with this. And it's about you see, when you talk about taking back the artifacts out of the museum, it's the same thing. It's about taking back the law.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why
That's
the
what
whole
it's really
thing
about.
come back. Yeah,
I'm telling you, because under the law, yeah,
because
what happens is everyone becomes sovereign. And if everyone's sovereign, then it's about the length of your claim, innit? Yeah. So take like for instance, the king died, yeah, and then all of his sons died. Now it's gonna go to another family member. But who's the closest family member?
in the monarchy, yeah.
Do you understand? And
Mhm.
then who's got if there's none of the closest family members left now, who's got the longest history in the family?
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? That's what we're dealing with. And then you have to understand the human family tree is not that big. And you know who comes first in that tree, right?
Mhm.
It's argument done, isn't it? It's like it's almost like living your life in fear and having to make
Exactly.
sure people don't find certain things out. People can't be allowed access to certain information. What we have to do is we have to make you think science is a science. But
Mhm.
remember, even science is governed by law.
Mm-hmm. Definitely is. Definitely is.
So you notice now when you talk about like going to law school and all of these things now, they're teaching you what they want to teach you. They don't want you to know the law. And what they want to do is they want you to believe that everything that is the law is spooky, is superstition.
Right.
Do you see where I'm coming from? Because any law that they've been sworn in on comes from the spooky and superstitious. So the only way you're going to be able to arm yourself against them is with those laws, because that's what they're governed by. And if you know what someone's governed by, now you can govern them. Check that one out.
100%. You can play them at their own game, so to speak.
Yeah,
All right.
that's why they are doing all this nonsense out here, because they know that it could turn into, a so-called uprise.
Well, this is why I
You
believe
get
certain
enough
things.
people who learn and know about themselves and know the laws,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna be a problem.
But this is why you're supposed to hear about certain things. When they start promoting certain things to people, saying, well, look at what the church is doing. Look at what these people are doing. Now, don't get me wrong. They've got their own church. To me, if it happens in their church, it's definitely planted. It's definitely there to make you look at things a particular way and to look at the entire establishment now. Because their one is supposed to be the top one, remember? And when I say they, you know what I'm talking about. Do you understand? Yeah. So when you look at their one, is where you're going to get an image now that's going to now make you look at everyone else and start painting everyone else in the same light. So to me, a lot of these things, they're planted, in it. You're supposed to be thinking a certain way.
Shifa, go over that briefly again, please, because I didn't catch that properly, if you don't mind.
So what I'm saying to you is, yeah, throughout the last few hundred years, I'd say the last 200 years, yeah, there's been a big push to get people away from what we might call religion or spirituality. Yeah.
Yes.
So you get to a point of today where you look at a country like China and what China's doing. Yeah. If everyone knows about what China's doing with religion and banning it and all of these things. Now, the only way they're going to get you there is if you believe that you're doing it yourself. So they've got to slowly indoctrinate you. They've got to slowly start planting things, creating stories. Yeah. So that you look at this establishment a certain way. Now, I'm not going to say that it's all false. I'm not going to say that none of these things didn't happen, but I'm going to say they were supposed to happen. And that's why they happen within particular establishments. You're not going to go to Africa and go to the Ethiopian church and you heard none of this foolishness was going on. Do you understand?
Yep.
And that's the fact, because they got to poison your mind, innit? They got to poison you because anything that's divine, yeah, might be on the level of what they're doing. Yeah. I'm not saying everything that's divine is on the level of what they're doing, because divine can mean a lot of things, but
certain forms of divinity.
There's maybe particular divine things that they want to keep you away from, divine laws, X, Y, Z. And maybe this is why, although all of these things have been done to push people away from it, these are still the biggest movements on the planet.
Right.
Because people know the truth. They see the truth.
That's why the Vatican, for example, all right, let me not go too thing in it, because I don't even know what I can say in it like that. And not just so I know like every last bit of what I'm talking about. Some of it is, I don't know, like my views, my perspective, and somewhat, speculation to a certain degree. You know what I mean? But some of it I know is true. You know what I mean? For example, like the church, they govern this money thing. You know what I mean? And they govern like almost to a certain. They govern like they are partially the government. You know what I mean? When it comes
They
to
also govern what cannons you got access to.
This is the thing as well, brother. I feel like the whole concept of religion was almost installed in us, to take us away from our ultimate power, as I was briefly saying before. You know what I mean? It's like the biggest like robber of our power. You know what I mean? Because we give all this power to something to an entity we have no understanding of. You know what I mean?
You see in the form that I'm talking to you about, yes, my brother. And that's what I'm saying, because remember, when you're dealing with religion, you're dealing with, say for instance, you're dealing with a Bible. A Bible is canonized. You know what that means, right?
Yes, sir.
No. When I say canonized, what I mean is you're not given certain parts on purpose. They're not giving you certain parts of it on purpose.
100,
You're led
100%.
to look at certain particular things on purpose. So you know when they say 80% truth, 20% lies, like someone else said it earlier.
That's what I was trying to get to when I was saying about that, with lying and the truth, because is at some point you can't even take certain things on truth, right? Because they put things in, like Brother Schiffer just said, they put it there, and there's some things they don't want you to know. And then I'm like, well, how do I even know what you have there is the truth anyway? Because you've been lying all along. Y'all can be rewriting stuff as we speak. And
I have a question on our intuition.
We just opened the pineal gland, and now we're dealing with cannons. We just raised the bar. So let me drop another jewel. So if you look at the story with Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, and you got the so-called devil or the serpent or whatever you want to identify it as,
Yes.
Reptilian,
some people, whatever you want to identify it with. Yeah, sorry. Some
people are going to say the serpent told the truth. What do you say to that?
I agree with you partially, bro. Don't because there's truth and there's a thing to that. You know what I mean? You're talking about.
I'm going to say that the serpent, looking here, seeing what everything is the serpent wasn't lying to them.
And you know what? I'd agree with you, because we see what the serpent did. He didn't have to lie in the conventional way that we know the word lie. Remember, we're dealing with divine beings. So what we may perceive as a lie may be a human perception and a human level of what we've interpreted as a lie. But when we get into deception, now we understand the full extent of what a lie can do. Because I don't have to necessarily lie to you. I just don't share all of the information.
Or don't exactly, or I'm not accurate.
And that's how I deceived you. Now do you get it? Because the point I'm trying to make is now, when the serpent told them, if you eat from the fruit, you're going to become like God, and God's lying to you. The fruit ain't going to make you die. It's going to become like God. Now he was telling the truth in the sense of they didn't die immediately, did they? You're not just going to eat the fruit and die. He was telling the truth in a sense of, if you eat the fruit, you're going to become like the Most High to some extent, because guess what? Now you're going to know things. Your brain's going to wake up. It's the tree of knowledge. It's going to wake your brain up into something that you didn't understand before. But on top of that, what he didn't tell them is this. Now you're going to be cursed. And you're going to have to be born. People are going to have to be born now through the womb. And he didn't tell them that, the mom's going to have to suffer 9 months of pain. And he didn't tell them all of these things. So he's actually deceived them. On top of that, he didn't tell them you're going to get yourself kicked out of the garden and you're going to have to go out into the world and fend for yourself, and your son's going to kill your other son. He didn't tell them none of these things.
So he tricked them.
I would imagine he knew.
Yeah. It was almost trickery, right?
It's trickery, brother. That's what I'm saying. Deception. And now let me show you a next thing now. because someone else said this and it
Wait,
resonated with
is
me.
Brother Panero back? Are you back,
Yeah,
Panero?
I've been listening, man. Some big
Okay,
Yo,
okay.
my brother.
Yeah, no, listen. I'll just let you listen. You know how I do
Because
my thing.
Schiffer was asking if you had access to do the share screen.
Yeah,
Oh,
we could do that in a minute. We could do that in a minute
yeah.
still. You can.
Okay, no, I just wanted to make sure you were there. Okay.
Yeah,
What
no,
was
I
I
was there
saying? Yeah.
after that, I think. Yeah.
What was
I've
this
been listening.
person
I've been
saying?
listening. I've been listening on my phone still, but yeah, continue still. But some big conversations going on there. I like it. Big up
Mm.
D boy. Yo, D boy. If you want to jump on, I can put the link there for you. Go on, Shift.
I forgot where I was now again. Try to remind me where I was. Bring me back to where I was.
Yeah, what was he
The
saying again
garden
about
in the
The
that's
garden.
Garden
it?
of Eden. Yeah. So the deception. All right.
Yeah.
So let's get to this now. Yeah. So what I'm gonna say to you is this. Yeah. You see, when you deal with black people, yeah, you have to understand something. We're the first human beings on this planet. Yeah.
Mhm.
So when the Most High started choosing who was going to be his people, there was only us around.
Right.
Now,
So he made us in his image.
all right, so I'm going to suggest to you, this is what I'm going to suggest to you. You see what we're calling not black people. Yeah, I'm going to use that terminology. Yeah.
Mhm.
It may not be exactly the same. And also with some of these people, what you may find a tendency for is a tendency for violence and a tendency for what's the word I'm looking for? Cunning. That's it. That's
Oppression.
the word that was used. Cunning. Yeah.
Yes.
Because when you talk about cunning now, yeah, we have to understand is indigenously within our cultures, there was a lot of pride and there was a lot of ritual. Even if you was going to go to war, you couldn't just go to war and just go and start killing people. There was a lot of law and all sorts of things that had to be applied in all the cultures
A
within
deeper
all of the
canon thing.
scripture
A
and the
deeper
spirits and
spiritual
the
thing.
canons. All right.
Yeah.
So now, what we have to understand is a person who's not susceptible to that is now going to be susceptible to cunning and different types of tactics and ways of thinking. Now, I think you may know where I'm going with this already, but what I'm going to say to you is this. When the Most High chose his chosen people in the Bible, yeah, all knew about it. We all heard about it. But you see, if the devil did the same, we ain't heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's what's missing. That maybe these are the things we need to know, because when they start talking about fallen angels and Nephilim and all sorts of things and mix up, everyone was mixed up. And then, you know what, there was a great flood and we got rid of everyone. And you know what, there was only Noah and his family left. But all of a sudden, years down the line, Nephilim was still in the earth. Hold up. So some of them survived and some of that DNA must be being mixed. And maybe
The
that's
book of
why you
Enoch.
got certain people that ain't like us. And maybe they've got a higher, not higher, they've got a different frequency, not a higher, the
Yeah.
different frequency to
Yeah,
us.
because
So,
there's somewhat, so to speak, of hybrids in it, you
all
know.
right. So
Yeah.
remember, our skin is receptive to the sun, innit? All beings, all natural beings to this planet are receptive to the sun and photosynthesize and all of that good stuff, melanin, all that good stuff. But then
Yeah.
that means we're taking in certain signals also, because remember, light also carries information. It don't just carry flipping light, it's signals and information. So
Right.
that's what we're gathering. That's where we're gathering our
Able to
information
download.
from.
We're able to download that information, you know.
Certain other people ain't downloading that information, but they may be susceptible to downloading other types of information, which are the
Yeah.
opposite. Now, if you
I
understand
must have moonlight.
brother, from when you understand opposites, you know what I'm talking about. And then even when you said moonlight, I know you know where I'm going with this. So this may be why you got certain stories. Like you've got, I saw one thing today. We was watching a video today on another channel talking about blue bloods. Yeah. And when we talk about blue bloods, now we're going to get into vampire and all sorts of things. And guess what? It ain't far off,
What's
because
this?
if you're
What's
going
this,
into
Shifter?
RH stuff,
Shifter,
then yeah.
what's this on the screen? 92 Dre, big up yourself. Shifter, you spoke about the blue-eyed devils.
Yeah, all of that stuff. Now, this is the thing, like a lot of this information's hidden. You know, I knew about this from young. Someone told me about it. You know, that blue eye they got in Turkey, and it's called the evil eye. It's got the blue eye is evil, and you know, it's got there's something different going on with the genetics. You know, I had a homeboy. You know, his uncle started showing me all sorts of stuff. They got old school videos where they're showing you people who walk on all fours. They're showing you people with tails. They're showing you people with hair all over their face. They're showing you Elephant Man. They're showing you all sorts of things that it's too crazy. That's not.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you go to Africa, you just don't see it.
Crossbreeding. Exactly. Thank you. You know.
You said what now? Say that again, Shifra. You said what? If they go to Africa, what?
I said if you go to Africa, you just don't see it. Yeah,
Not see
and
that crossbreeding stuff.
in fact, I believe there are some black people though that have got some of these genetics mixed up in them. And then what you'll notice is, have you ever seen a black person and they're growing like an extra little thing that looks like a finger, but it never really fully grows with the black people like that. But then I'm telling you,
or the Asian man them.
But I'm telling you, see some of them man there and they got 6 fingers. I mean, fully grown fingers.
Crazy. You understand? That's because of the mixed genetics, man.
It's not a joke, brother. And then when you talk about, when you say Asian,
yeah.
What you said, Panero?
I know a baby. When I was a youth man, like 15, I know a baby that was born with 6 fingers on each hand. It didn't survive though. It didn't survive, but it was born with
mad thing.
6 fingers on each hand and no eyes. Mad.
Wow. Bloody gross.
Rest in peace to Luke.
Mad. Yes.
It's mad, bro. It's mad. And this is the thing where it's like, how can I explain this? We have to really know ourselves, innit? Because once you know yourself, then you'll be able to explain it to someone else. They won't be able to tell you any different. Before you know it becomes common knowledge. But I think the minds in our community have been dumbed down so much. You know, they got AI dumbing us down now. It's got so bad. They don't even need to do it themselves. They can just program a robot and the robot will just rap like Nicki Minaj and all the girls are falling for it. The robot starts rapping like Little Yachty or I don't know, whoever it is. I can't remember, Moneybag, whoever, I don't know, or 50 Cent, whoever. Yeah. And then they just fall for it. I'm telling you.
Well, you know, I have this take on, and I said this like years ago to my husband, and he turned around. My husband is not a religious person at all. I said to him, "You know that God and the devil are the same being, right?" He's like, "Oh my God, that's blasphemy! Why would you say that?" Da, 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 da. I said, "Because let me tell you something," and I had to realize this. I said, "Because I never was the one to say, 'Oh, the devil made me do it.' Oh, you know, I'm tempted." I never, when I got pregnant at 15 years old, I automatically knew that it was God testing me and sitting me down for a reason because I was moving too fast and ahead of my time. And had I not gotten pregnant and had God not given me this divine child, I would have been so wayward and so out of control. On drugs, probably sold my box out and probably be dead. I never once sat there and said that the devil made me do this. I did devilment. I had sex at an early age, but I never thought to say, you know, the devil. And so when people say that, I think that's an excuse. And I always say, no, God is testing you. And God will give you all the temptations. God will give you everything that you want, right? Because you're asking for this, and in due time. Now, how will you pass this test?
How you pass the test is by not giving in to the devil. And you see, when you said the devil made you do it, I know you don't think that. I know from what you said, I don't believe that you think the devil.
I said the devil. I said the devil did not make me do it. Yeah, I knew God. Yes,
now listen, I knew hear me out on this. Hear me out on this. Hear me out on this. Is that necessarily true? Because you see, if you live in a devil's house and the devil teaches you, yeah, the devil educates you, yeah, and the devil is telling you what's wrong and right. The devil's giving you his law and you're obeying his law, yeah, and the devil's giving you his TV, the devil's giving you all of his entertainment and all of these temptations. Then technically the devil is making you do it. When you resisted it, that's when you realized the devil was trying to tempt you and you went back to the Most High. That's when you retreated. and you said, all right, let me go back to where I'm safe. Let me go back home. Yeah. And when you got back home, you could see the devil outside, but now he can't approach you because he knows you're at home now. Do you know like that? And
Me and the devil are homies. Me and the devil, we got an understanding. But I hear you. I hear what you're saying.
We dancing with the devil right now.
Listen, but that's perception.
We dancing with the devil right now. Yeah,
all
let's think about this. Listen, we're on what how do you get to StreamYard.com? What do you have to what's the first thing you type in?
Google.
Yeah, when you go to Google, www, there you go. So
no, 666, but 666 is actually the person. It's human being, neutrons, protons. It's not evil. So I'm not even going to go with that 666.
Say that, sis. You say that.
Don't even go there, Foxy, man. You have white rap the news jumping up here in a minute, man.
Okay. Yeah, it's gonna get mad, sis. I'm gonna tell you why it's gonna get mad. Because
I didn't know that either.
Sis, you see what you said about us living in the future, pre now. Yeah, the people before us living in the future.
Yeah,
that's what I was trying to get at you with. I'm trying to say to you, you see the type of technology they had. It involved the spirit. The spirit was enhanced within the technology. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now you see this technology right here, right now. Imagine computer game. Yeah, they're doing virtual reality where you put something on your head to go into a machine. Now, what you see on the movie is something different, because when you watch The Matrix, they actually plugged into the machine and they've gone into the game. Yeah, but it seems real. Everything's real inside the game. Yeah. Right. Now, what I'm saying to you is the type of technology we were dealing with. You didn't need to plug something into your head.
Thank you.
You didn't need that. Do you understand? When you're talking about astral projection and them things there, these guys don't need to plug something into their head. Yeah. Now, what I'm saying to you is these guys who run the world then, yeah, who are doing their thing and controlling people, yeah, these are master wizards. What are we doing?
Absolutely.
These are master wizards. Come on. You just watch the Lord of the Rings then, if you don't know this people. Yeah. Anyone who don't know this, you didn't watch them things properly.
Wait, and you
properly. What, Middle Earth? What are we doing? Come on, man. What are we really doing? The rings of power. How many rings?
But Brother Schiffer, do you know that those guys that wrote those books, that type of book and others, are actually Christians and theologians and all that good stuff?
Thank you. So what are the 4 rings? Talk to me. Is it 4 rings? It is 4 rings, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 4 rings. Yep.
All right. So think about it.
But that's just wild. Like these people, and I had to think about it because I was like, wait a minute. C.S. Lewis, the one who wrote Chronicles of Narnia, and they got a witch in there. This guy told, whatever his name is, who wrote the Hobbit and all that stuff. These guys went to Christian schools. They were Christians, theologians, and they writing all this wizardry stuff in their books.
Not what the book talks about. I'm gonna tell you what I think it is. Yeah, this is what I think. I think you got 4 rings of power. Yeah, but really there's only 3, because one of those rings is a fictitious character, but without that fictitious character, those rings have no power in it. So the fictitious character is the seat of power, yeah. And you've got 3 seats of power, yeah, within one tree, yeah. They're 3 branches of the same tree. You could call it something to do with Abraham, you know, like that if you want to. Yeah, you know where I'm going with that. So think about the 3 branches. And then think about the seat of power, and then see how it filters down. And then once you understand the seat of power is a fictitious character, because guess what? It's not even giving you the full thing that it's supposed to give you. Now you understand where I'm going with this, about the wizardry. Come on, man, this is crazy stuff, and people will die for it.
That's what this whole. That's what the fucking. You see the holy text. That's wizardry. You know that spell work.
Brother, there you go. There's the rings, bro. So I don't need to tell you anymore than what I've told you. You hear?
And I feel like the prophecy is being revealed as the belief system is being believed, and as, how can I say, these religions, sectors and cults are coming together.
Brother, what do they say is the greatest trick the devil ever pulled? Making you believe he don't exist. What do one of them rings do? Make you disappear. Yeah. Even the guy that's got the ring that makes you disappear. So like you got a thing, the next thing with the cloak of invisibility. It's always been a thing in there, all of their things. It's always one of their spells. And then when you look at it like this now, brother, like you have to kind of think to yourself, all right, people will die for this. They'll die for 80% of the truth. They'd probably die for 50% of the truth. I don't really know how much percent of the truth they're willing to die for, but if they're not willing to die for the whole truth, then the people themselves are defective. How about that?
Yeah, no, for real.
Shift.
Mm.
So, for the people, yeah, is there good wizardry and bad wizardry, or is it all bad?
Now, when you say they're good wizardry and bad wizardry, I'd say to you, we're sitting here talking right now, having a conversation, and every single word we're saying had to be spelt. So every single word, therefore, I can declare is a spell. And unfortunately, for the people who are religious nutcases, then I don't call them people who are just reading the text for what it is. I call them nutcases. They're going to tell you that there is no spells in this, and then they got words written down.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And you know what I mean? They're not realizing that the whole formulation of a spell, like for example, quickly saying, yeah, like just you reading out a text, yeah, for example, from the Bible, for example, yeah, you're putting that in play. You're manifesting that, and you're manifesting that play. You understand? If you just think about how many people is actually doing this and putting their belief in this, for example, this thing that we call belief system, you understand? And then we, how can I say, we're putting it in play. You know what I mean? I feel like we're literally putting it in play, but
the words
I'm not a person that reads the Bible, for example. I'm just saying, like, that's how powerful shit like the word is, and reading.
But the words are technology, brother. Words are a type of technology that they don't want us to tap into. And that's why they got to shield us from certain types of wording and certain types of thought patterns. Now,
thank you. That's why they want us on a certain frequency. That's why they want us on a certain frequency. That's why they're giving us this book and trying to make us follow this one-way code. Because they want us stuck in a certain frequency.
Exactly.
You understand?
Well, one second, people, man. Great discussion. Big up Maybach in the comments.
Oh, snap! My brother Maybach is in the building. Salute.
Yeah. If you want to jump on, I put the link there still for you at the bottom there. So if you feel like,
I feel like a lot of the time, this reality is being manifested because it's being we're on that, like, it's being fed from the same frequency. You understand what I'm trying to say? The same code of conduct. The scriptures. These scriptures are just being read over and repeat, and we're wondering why stuff is happening. These things is happening because they're being put in play.
This is why you have to be careful.
That's a good point.
In front of us. You understand, sister?
Like a spell. Like a spell. Yep.
We have to be very careful who we let into our lives and who we're talking to, brother. Let me explain something to you. Yeah. I'll give you a really good example. This is a brilliant example, in fact, because the brother's here. Brother Panero's here right now. Yeah. And this is a brother who I can say, honest to God's truth, hand on my heart, like, if it wasn't for this brother's influence, I wouldn't be reading my Bible the way I'm reading it. Because when I talk to this brother about the Bible, the way he talks about the Bible is power. Yeah, you need to know what's going on because this shit is real. Listen, you see the way he talks about it. The way he talks about it empowered me because now I can say, you know what? It's not just me that believes it to some extent. This brother's fully like he's 100. So do you know what? At that point, you see the point where I took it 100%. I said, you know what? Let me get deep with this stuff now. And I started really going deep into it and then following the trail and understanding there's more than one canon. There's loads of canons out there. There's the King James, there's the Septuagint, there's the Talmud, there's not Talmud, what is it? The Jewish one, whatever they call it, the Jewish Bible. You got all sorts of Bibles. So I just started reading. You see, by the time I've done my discovery, I come to realize that, like, all of these people are working together, brother.
The doctrine working together. Thank you, brother. You
All of them are
understand?
working together, but what they're not doing is they don't want you to read this book. They want you to interpret it the way they taught you to. They want to
Yes.
indoctrinate you with it. The
Want
moment
to
I
believe
realized
in
that,
it.
brother,
Yes.
it just took it to a whole new ballpark. Do you
Right.
understand?
Hey,
And now
before,
all of
Yes.
listen,
these things,
Different
come on,
perspective again.
revelation.
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Different
Hey,
perspective
what? Yeah,
again.
before I'm gonna say this question. There's a question there from Bristol, but before we get to that, I just want to say, even though Schiffer learned from me, I just want to say certain things from me. I should say I pushed him onto it. From what we come from, Schiffer, from what we come from to where we're at now, it's ridiculous. What you've done in the space of time that you started doing your thing, you have to give yourself a pat on the back, brother, because your brain is like a sponge, my brother. Yeah, and it's actually sometimes it actually turns around that I'm listening to you, but you might even not realize because I'm not saying nothing. Yeah, so you're teaching me certain things as well. You feel me?
It's a
Even
beautiful
though
thing
even though
about
we're
it.
on a crazy level, yeah. But at the same time, you're teaching me. I sit back and listen to you, and I'm like, rah. You know what I'm saying? Because I know Schiffer from I don't know Schiffer from the internet. I know in person. He's my brother. Yeah, and I know what we've come from. Do you understand? To what we're doing now, and it ain't easy from what we've been around. So I just want to say
Yes.
big up to you as well, my G. Yo, big up
Yeah, bless, man.
James N. Big up yourself. But back to this question here, Bristol Magazine, the plug. What do you think of the Quran? What do you think of the Quran?
Brother, I think the Quran and the Bible are telling us the same story, and I don't have a problem with either one. Like, I believe that as far as just a book itself, I have no problem with it whatsoever. Yeah, and that's what I'm gonna say about the Quran. I'm just talking about the Quran, just the book, the Quran. We're not gonna go into Islam, and we're not dealing with Hadith, none of that. Just the Quran. Yeah, as long as that's what we're talking about here, got no problem whatsoever.
Is that better?
What about you, PR?
Oh, wait, move on there for a second.
Sorry, my brother. What about you, Foxy? While PR's doing his thing quickly.
Oh, shit, one second, bro.
I the books, like, you have to, I understand that people have written it, man has written it to their interpretation, but there's a deeper relationship that I have with the Bible and just being brought up, in Christian, as a Christian. So, I had to come to my own revelation and understanding about the things, and it's, I don't know. I can't really answer it properly. I don't know if I'm answering it the way, what do I
Can I
think about
answer
it?
again,
I never
please?
read the Quran, so but I do think that most of these books that are written, religiously, they all kind of have the same stem, just different branches and different ways of teaching and talking, but the stories are similar.
Yeah, and I have to affirm with Sister Foxy in a sense of maybe not exactly what she said, but I didn't lie, but I didn't give all the information, and I don't want to deceive anyone. Look, the one problem I'm gonna have with any religious book, yeah, is when it's canonized. I got a problem with canonization, and I think that in canonization we're always gonna lose things. And what did we lose? I think that, without those parts, I'm not going to say anything's 100%. I'm going to say I don't have a problem
Right.
with it still, but I'm not going to say nothing's 100% until you give me 100%.
Mm. Whoa. Well, that's your views, isn't it? That's your views, man. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. PRB TV. What do you think? What's your views? Like, not like to go too deep or nothing. You know what I'm saying? But like, have you read the Quran? Like, have you read? What do you think? Like, Oh, PRB's
Me,
not.
broski.
Yeah. Am I cutting out again?
No,
Yeah, no. I can hear you, broski.
Okay.
Nah. What am I saying? I feel like, for example, I've read bits of the Quran, yeah,
Mm.
But I feel like, for example, because I know that a lot of them is in Arabic, isn't it?
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's similar, man. Very much similar to, you know, how the Bible be, and it's got the same ideology. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Um.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
how
man.
I
I
feel.
just sit like that for
That's
now.
exactly how I feel. Yeah. I feel
Yes.
that it's very
Yes.
similar. There's certain
Yes.
things in it that I don't agree with, but there's a lot of history in it as well. Detailed certain things detailed in it. Certain events that took place. It's almost like the books are all been scattered around over the years. You know what I'm saying? But you put through them together, you can make sense of certain things. You know what I mean?
Right.
Can I ask you a question though, P? Because
Mm.
this one kind of like, I don't know. I feel like I got the answer, but I want to know what you would say to this question. Yeah.
Yeah.
All of these books, regardless of which one, the Bible, the Quran, I don't know what the Hindu book is, but the Hindu one or whatever book, what is the purpose of a religious text or a spiritual text? What was the purpose of these texts that have been passed down throughout the centuries?
It's more of a way of life, like a guideline for life. You know what I mean? That's how I take it. You know what I'm trying to say? Like we said in the last show, I feel that if everyone was to follow their religion intently, it would be a better place. Not like half and half. You know what I'm trying to
Yeah,
say?
yeah,
That's what I think the problem is. That there's a lot of different religions, a whole heap of them. Jehovah's Witnesses. There's certain Muslims that actually got beef within their own community. And I've seen not that I'm having a blast at Muslims at all. Yeah. But I've walked past a mosque before, and I've seen a dark-skinned Muslim punch another Muslim in the face. And when I asked him why he done it right in front of me. And when I asked him why he done it, he said, "No, that's the other Muslims, the ones that blow things up and stuff and do stuff." And I was like, "What? Like you all go to the same mosque?" You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is, if they go along the peace guidelines a bit more, I think it would be better. You know what I'm saying? I just think that people use it and take advantage of it. You know what I'm trying to
yeah.
say?
I'm glad you gave that answer because I feel like it kind of runs in unison with my answer, in the sense of my answer was the one I came up with is this: the divine texts were placed there throughout time for human beings so that the laws of the divine could be passed down, yeah,
Right.
to the human beings. Now, if it was all about passing on the law and laying down the law, then that means the law becomes paramount. That becomes the most important thing, more than anything. And then I go into my Bible and I say, okay, Yeshua or Jesus, as many of us know him in the Bible. Yeah. So Jesus arrives. And what Jesus does is he comes to lay down the law. Literally. And it's like at first I didn't put it like that. I didn't put it like that in the sense of like it's like he arrives and he says things like, I didn't come to change the law, I came to affirm it. But even in that affirmation, he's laying down the law. Do you feel where I'm coming from? So all of the things that he did, all of his actions, and they're all teachings, they're all lessons, they're all life lessons. So even not who without sin cast the first stone, and you know, ushering in a new era of what was it? I don't know if the word's compassion or something. I can't remember where it was. It was a specific word, but I'd have to go back in the Bible and find it. And what was it? Like when you go into like Paul and certain man, what they're talking about when they say it's not what goes in the man's mouth that defiles him, it's what comes out. I feel like what he's trying to teach us is that
Don't forget, Paul was a funny guy though. Still,
sound like some trickery,
I hear
Frankie.
that.
That sound like some trickery about it. It's not what
yeah,
goes.
no, Paul was a
Cut it
funny
out.
guy. He was a funny guy in
I
the
hear
Bible.
what you. Do you know what? I hear what you're
Another
saying.
wizard,
but
another wizard, bro. Another magician.
you see
Nah,
what
can I?
you
Nah,
see
can
what
I
the
just
problem,
say? Go on.
you see what the problem is though, bro. Yeah, you see what I come to realize now. Like you see, if your heart is pure, yeah, if your heart is pure, your heart's well, not necessarily pure, not pure in the sense of like you're a virgin or something. I just mean your
Yeah.
heart is clean, it's free from burden. Yeah, you see, if your heart is free from burden, then technically, let's say you made a mistake. Yeah, does
And
that stop?
you want your spirit clean as well.
Are your spirit's clean too? Yeah. So let's say you make a mistake or you did something that was outside of the law. Yeah. Does that necessarily mean that you lose your blessing? Yeah. And I want to refer to a couple of stories in the Bible. Yeah.
I hear you, bro.
I'm gonna start
Like
at Samson. I'm gonna start at Samson. Yeah. I
like
remember Samson he's a womanizer. Yeah.
the
But
intent, bro.
he still didn't lose the blessing. When he found himself in the end, the blessing came straight back. Do you feel where I'm coming from? You got King David. Yeah, he's a wicked man, but guess
Yeah.
what? He still had the blessing. Even Abraham broke the commandments.
What are you
Yeah,
saying? You reckon it was because of their intent, their heart, and their
yeah,
intention?
yeah. I think that's
Of
what
course, I
I
think
think
that's
that's
to
what
do
it's
with it.
about. It's about because at the end of the day, you're still going to have to navigate this lifetime, innit? But you can't lose sight of who you are and where your home is, innit? Because if you lose sight of who you are and where your home is, when you go home, mum's not even going to recognize you no more. Now you're acting in ways. You don't even take your shoes off when you come in the house. And she don't even want
You
you
might
there.
not
No
even
more.
find you. You might not even find your way back.
You see it? Like, just please don't come around there no more. Like, that's how it's going to be.
Now, but people, can I just say this one thing though? Yeah, I swear, yeah, want the fucking the Bible and that. Yeah, pardon my language because I'm not sure if I can swear on it. Pardon. Want the Bible and these things like beating into us. Because at one point, remember, as we spoke about before, we weren't even allowed to read, for example, at a time.
Not the Bible, a version of something they was calling a Bible, because they used to have a thing called a slave Bible, and that's not a Bible. They ain't even got the Bible in it. Do you feel what I'm trying to say? The same thing I'm trying to tell you when it's like when they was doing these things and treating us like animals. At the same time, you're going by civil law. Yeah. So if you're going by civil law, that means you already had the canons. That means you already had the law, because that's where civil law comes from. And that means you already knew what you was doing was wrong. You already knew it was a crime, which is why you had to try and cover yourself. You had to try and cover your tracks, because these are treasonous acts. Yeah. And do you know what? I'm not going to go too deep in that direction, but you can see where that gets to already.
It's interesting stuff.
I'm telling you, but obviously we can't have certain types of information, because this is why certain men are dead right now, isn't it? Because certain men, they know certain things, innit? And when they get too bright, like they could change something in the world dramatically. They could make a dramatic change that's going to affect everyone, and it may affect us in a good way, but if it affects us in a good way, then someone's going to be unhappy. You see where I'm coming from? So they're going to do whatever they got to do to stop that. Someone might have to get paid. Someone might have to get paid.
What do you think of Andrew Tate people?
I think most of these people here nowadays that we're seeing, anyone who's famous now, I don't trust no one, bro. I don't even trust Tupac. How about that? I don't trust no one.
Oh, say that to Foxy, you know.
What, brother?
Get on you, boy.
Andrew,
Get on you, fam.
Wait a minute now. Wait a minute now. Now, brother Schiffer saying something about my husband. Wait a minute. See, I get you though, because I was watching last week. I was watching this guy on I was listening to him on YouTube, and he had mentioned he's talking about all the celebrities and things like that, as far as like, you know, these people are not to be trusted, so forth and so on. And I said, I had put in the comment, I said, yeah, the only one that I could pretty much trust is Pac. He was a real one. Why did I put that in there? He's like, I don't know about all that, sis, because who leaves the hospital, gets shot 5 times, and then leaves the hospital to go to court the next day? I don't know about you, but that's not really possible. He's an agent, this, then the third. So, you know what? I'm going to leave people to that. I don't know him personally, and I don't know his family personally.
Let me give you another one this year. Do you remember the song that he made for Biggie Smalls? And he's talking about take money and then thing there, not get money, take money. So what's that promoting to the youth? And then
yeah. Listen. Listen,
And then come on
he was
now.
talking about he
East
was
Coast,
he
West
was
Coast.
talking bad about some women, and he had the you know, that culture
Yeah,
with
the
that's what they're doing
charge. Yeah,
now,
the
the
charge.
drinking and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, you know, that's what. But Malcolm X told us this: we don't look to entertainers and athletes as leaders.
Do you think
Hell no.
Tupac's personality was a real personality?
No.
I think he was still trying to find himself, man.
He
Yeah,
was,
I think
and you have to,
definitely.
yeah.
So I think what with Tupac here, what people like, I think that people just love him because they actually see who what he was in that sense as well, and they knew that because we didn't even really see who Tupac was in that sense, you know. We just knew that he was a big expressionist in that sense, you know what I mean? And he
Yeah,
was a
but
good, it was a big.
you see what we're doing now. You see what we're doing now. We're deifying him again as well. Like it's like I don't know. We talk with these sugar coated words. Fuck all of that, man. Let's get messy out here, bro. Like let's the thing. Sorry for the swearing.
Well, why do you feel like
But,
you don't even trust him?
look, let's look at this for really where it is, isn't it? Like these are plastic personalities. No one ain't like that in real life. No one don't go from just being a normal guy to Don Corleone overnight. Don't work like that. Yeah. Secondly, what I want to say now, yeah, as far as all of this this industry stuff, like, and you know, actors, you know, like Will Smith, like, you know, if Will Smith, you know, all of a sudden got all woke and started talking some shit, you'd be like, this is Will Smith, acting. But you forget Tupac, the actor. What are we doing? He's Will Smith.
Yeah, to a certain extent.
Right, and that's the argument, Brother Schiffer. That's the argument that's what people saying. There's some people that are saying the same thing. He was an actor, and listen. But before all that, yeah, and I have to understand. You have to understand. Well, you don't have to, but he's coming from a background that you, myself, Brother Panera and Brother PR, we're not from that. I don't have any Black Panthers.
What does that mean? What does that mean? Because I got political people in my family. Yeah.
Okay, so you do. So will you? So you understand the activism of that culture. You understand that it's not just your normal family that's 9 to 5 and you like the standard. The activists.
I'm going to tell you what I understand. I understand if you came from a Nation of Islam background, all your parents and everything, and you grew up in the Nation of Islam, it's unlikely that you're Tupac. It's unlikely if you are a rapper, if you are an entertainer, it's unlikely you're talking about the type of things he's talking about. It's unlikely.
So what about DJ Khaled, who's Muslim, but he's talking about God did?
Well, not being funny, are Muslims even supposed to be making music? What are we doing?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, what are we talking about then?
Well, that's what I mean. Sis. You can't say you're one thing and be another. That don't make sense.
I feel you.
So that's what I'm saying. Tupac ain't no different. It's oxymoron. You can't say.
Let's have it correct. Let's have it correct. Everyone's playing their part, but some people just play it really well. And like everyone's got their own perspective of seeing things, isn't it? So it's just bro.
Right.
Come on, they're paid actors. Like they are literally, and he was literally on film. You get me? So let's as I said, I think he was still he may be a bit lost, and he was finding himself as well, though. That's why I think he's so prolific, man. Like that.
Yeah,
he died very young as well. Sorry, Foxy, how young did he die again, please?
He was 25.
He's a young man.
You know what I'm saying? Man. Like, tell me what 25-year-old. Listen, I got a 25-year-old son who acts almost just like that. He hasn't really completely found himself. What most 25-year-old boys, men, are really doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not giving him the time. Hold on, Schiffer. Because I don't idolize Tupac, but he definitely got me out of some times where I was dark. And
yeah, me too.
You know what I'm saying? And so the fact that he even said it to the TV people. Listen, I had to put on the bandana because me rocking the the Afrocentric stuff wasn't really getting a lot of brothers to come in and stop this violence. So he said, I got to put on another persona, and that's what he did. And then what happened? All the dudes was loving him, but the women were loving him, and that's how you get to the dudes. He had an agenda. As young as he was thinking outside of the box, and he was still caught in this limelight of, I got to be like this, but my family, this is what we're doing. This is what I need to be doing. It's for the people. So, you know, people going to say whatever, they're actors. Listen, y'all watch football. Y'all watch these entertainers the time.
That's
It
right.
was definitely unique.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, I don't know you personally.
Where I'm going to go with this right now, sis, yeah? I think it's going to wake you up. Watch this. What if that was all supposed to happen? What if you're supposed to see this thing the way you're seeing it? What if it was all tailored towards you and your personality and your way of thinking? And you was never supposed to see the cracks in the paintwork. Yeah. So watch this. Imagine a man sold his soul. Yeah. And they said, all right, you know what? You know, when they watch them films with the devil, when someone goes to the crossroads and they sell their soul, devil says, okay, yeah, you can have your fame, you can have your whatever you want, you can have the millions, and you know, it can go to your family when you die, but you know, you've only got X amount of time.
You got 10 years.
All right,
you got 10 years to do this.
There you go. Now check both of them, Tupac and Biggie. What kind of albums are they making before they die?
They're ready to die, all of this and that. Yeah, some of this is they knew the game deep down. It's like some of it's because that's what it is most time. They don't know on a conscious level. They know on a subconscious level, if that makes any sense, you know. So these things is true. They played out.
Why do you think people say that he's not dead? Do you understand?
Yes,
because it don't add up. It don't make sense. For instance, look at the Biggie.
I know he's dead.
The day. Listen, you know
people know they're
I know
dying,
you know he's dead, but maybe you're supposed
to. They knew they was gonna die. Sorry.
Now, hear what I'm gonna say now. Biggie Smalls. The day Biggie Smalls gets shot up, I swear he was in LA, innit? He was in West, like where Tupac got killed or whatever, same area.
Yeah, he was in LA and Tupac was in Las Vegas.
All right.
Still like the West Coast,
Still on the West Coast. He's in LA and he's supposed to fly to England. And he says, no, I don't want to go to England. He wants to stay in LA, according to Puff Daddy. Yeah. He don't want to go to England. Big old England, you know. Bare fans, a whole new different audience. I don't know how many times he's been to England before that, but I think it might have been once. I'm not sure if it's a lot. I think it's only once, to be honest, in my memory. That's how I remember it. So I'm saying, all right, he didn't want to go to big old England and go around all big Europe, with all screaming fans and all sorts of fun going on. I'm sorry, mate. I don't know if that adds up to me. At the end of the day, he was in a contract, innit? Yeah, so
they all were.
Everything was carried out by contract, including the murder, or the supposed murder, because everything had to fit in, everything had to look how it looked. Now, at the end of the day, you know, as long as things look the way we think they're supposed to look, we're gonna accept it. Yeah. Now, it's like someone woke up my mind to this today, because I've been talking about this AI thing because Pinero put me onto it. And since I've seen this AI, I just been researching like a motherfucker and be like, oh shit, there's bare things you can do with AI now. Yeah. But if they're giving us this now, what did they have then? And if they had that type of technology then all of them things can get staged real easy. Now, if you think about Hollywood and being an actor and all of these things, makeup, all of these things. Plus, these men know certain things. They know about how to implement certain techniques, like taking certain drugs to make you seem like you're dead, or certain types of witchcraft, meditation, X, Y, Z. So there's many, many routes this thing could have took for you to really believe this thing. And then you just cut it off somewhere, innit? He's gone. He just looks different. Plastic surgery, bam, bam, bam.
Oh yeah. The mob guys used to do that all the time.
Have a nice life, you know, like that, like work. And that's what I'm saying. And it wouldn't be that hard neither, because remember, you're only your straw man, really. You don't really exist. You're already dead anyway. You know, like that. So it won't be hard to get you in somewhere else, as long as we can announce you as somebody. And even if that person is dead, they was dead anyway. So you can still even be that person, then change your name, and you get.
Well, I'll tell you this, Brother Shifter. If I see him All right. I'm going to be jumping down his freaking case and I'll be so mad because I'm like, listen, I've been batting you for 25 years that you're dead and he's alive somewhere smoking a cigar in Cuba. I'll be pissed
Yo,
off.
my people. Yo, Pineros. What do you think of? What you think of? What do you think of Kobe's thing? Kobe Bryant's thing.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, same thing.
Salute to everybody, man. Salute to everybody on the panel. Salute, Foxy. Salute. Hey, PR was saying some stuff, man. He made me have to come up here. I wanted to just listen and enjoy the show. But nah, because I feel him on that too. You already know, Foxy. You already know they call me conspiracy theorist, right?
Yeah, I know, but where were you Friday? Where were you Friday? Because I was man down by myself on Friday, holding the fort down.
I think I might have been out. Was I out and about with the kids?
It was late. Yeah, it was in the afternoon. So.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
I think I typed in the thing that I was running around. I was picking them up and stuff.
You know what? Let me just tell you. I know this is Brother Panero's panel, but let me tell you something. Mm-hmm. Because I couldn't get a hold of you. What'd you say, P?
Foxy's G-checking. Everyone take notice.
Yo, I feel you, Panero. That's why I was like, hold on.
Because I'm like this, yo. So Lotus was in the chat, but my thing showed 0. Like nobody was watching. So
I saw Lotus. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I was in there. There was people watching.
Yeah. It didn't reflect. Is what I'm saying. So what I'm talking about, you see how they, you know what I'm saying? Like we talking all this crazy stuff. And it's not crazy. This is stuff that's like they don't want us to talk about, but
facts.
It's there. Why are they showing us this? It's there for it to be spoken about.
Right. This is the PowerPoint. This is the PowerPoint I wanted to make real quick, right? PR was talking about it. This is how I feel. And this is facts, not my opinion, not my feelings, facts. The feds were doing surveillance on both of them, on Pac and Biggie, right? Yeah. And back to what you were saying about Diddy, right? That's a fact, right? Listen, Biggie just messed up his leg. So he was on crutches from that car accident or whatever accident that happened, right? So why would he go to LA when the beef was heightened at that time? And like PR was saying, why wouldn't he go to London where it would be chill, where the environment would be, you know what I'm saying? Like where he can really
My name's Schiffer.
Schiffer was saying that.
Okay, my fault. My fault. I thought it was PR that was saying that. So back to what Schiffer was saying. That's a fact. He was supposed to go to London according to thing. Now I'm gonna say this too. The security, Biggie's security has been releasing everything and saying, and then now Beyonce is security is even releasing stuff on Diddy saying Diddy wanted to pay him to take Biggie out. So I feel allegedly take him out of here, right? Allegedly. So let's put that out there. So that's why I feel like this whole thing with Biggie and Pac, I think these both men are alive right now. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. You know what I mean? Like I said, I got people that call me conspiracy theories, but I can bring facts. These are all facts that line up from the LAPD that did the investigation with the Vegas Police Department, and they found there was a bunch of stuff going on with LAPD and Vegas PD allegedly. Go ahead.
Don't say on this channel that it's all facts, because
it's not a fact.
No, that's why I'm stressing the allegedly. I'm stressing the alleged.
But don't say it's all
facts. I got you.
I don't want to get sued, man.
I got you.
You see what we're dealing with, though, brother. Yeah. It's almost like a political science what we're dealing with now. When you think of a Diddy boy or a flipping a Sugar Knight, whatever you want to call them, like you don't think of these guys as politicians, but if you look at the aspects of what they're controlling, billion-dollar industries, now become just like, and communities, they've now become exactly like politicians, and it's like, okay, you know what?
John Gotti.
All right, now imagine Diddy is like, how can I put it? Diddy is like a dictator then, more than like a prime minister, innit? Because you know he's not ruling a country; he's just trying to keep control of what he's got, and what he's got he's got to be very cloak and dagger to make sure that no one else can't take it from him. Yeah, all of these guys, Diddy, Birdman, whoever it is, Master P, you name it, whoever's at the top of the ladder. Yeah.
Correct.
What's going to happen is now, at some point, he's selected a load of artists and a load of people to work with, and he's worked with all of these people, and he's trying to make everyone as big as possible, so that, you know what, if one person falls off, I can make the money off the next one. All of a sudden, all of them start doing bits, but one of them's going to be the one that explodes. That's going to be the real money. Yeah. Now, when that happens, that person, if not manageable, if not if they're not able to keep that person docile enough, that person then becomes a threat. Yeah. Now, if you're a threat, I've got two choices. I could take you out completely, yeah, and that would be definitely an option. So there's definitely the possibility that both men are dead, yeah. But then there's also, like we said, the negotiation where, do you know what, you're getting too much now, and other people got to get their time in it, yeah. So what we got to do, you're gonna have to disappear, and we've negotiated, and I'm gonna pay you X amount, and you just fuck off now. Because whatever you thought you was going to get, you ain't going to get, because I'm sat in the seat of power, in it. So however powerful you thought you were, whatever dream was offered to you by another dragon, like, it's not possible, because that dragon ain't got authority over me.
They're not paying you to disappear. They're getting rid of you.
You know what?
That's
you see when you say that. You see when you say that, yeah? I'm going to say this for you. The only reason I believe what you're saying, yeah, is more plausible. Like a scientist would say, more plausible, yeah? But the reason why I don't believe the contrary is absolutely unplausible is for this reason. Like, when you look at after the man dead, after Biggie dead, after Tupac dead, like, people made up noise, don't get me wrong. Investigations happen, don't get me wrong. But other than my man's mom, other than Biggie's mom, I just don't feel like enough noise was made. And even there, I don't feel like enough noise was made. I feel like it's almost, like, you see, if I had if it was my child and I even had the thought that it was you, I don't care who you are. You could have Puff Daddy, you could have anybody. Listen, you're done out.
You're gonna go hard.
You're finished out here. We ain't friends. No one ain't friend no more. What are you doing?
Correct. No, I feel you. I agree with you on that stance. Even Biggie's mother talks about, like, how much money, like, she didn't receive. You know what I'm saying? Just like Afrini Shakur, she was in charge of Tupac's estate, and then once she passed away, somebody ended up with everything. Same thing with Michael Jackson. He had all the Beatles catalog, and the minute that he died, it was back in Paul McCartney's hand, allegedly. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, but that's the point I'm making to you, in the sense of whatever happened, those people, they received, whatever they received, and they've shut up now. You understand? Yeah. At the point where you shut up, now I start feeling suspicious.
Correct.
People are still eating from their music that shouldn't be, right this second.
Oh, yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy.
You know what I mean?
But what's the guy's name? What's the guy from South London who died again? Stephen Lawrence. I swear his mum's still campaigning till this day. To this day. Like that. Yeah. So I don't understand how these people got money. They was earning royalties off of their Pitney's music and all sorts of things. And they shut up.
Yeah.
What's going on? It's not like they're poor. It's not like they got an excuse. So, from my perspective, and then, like you said, Tupac's mom died. Okay, so she's gone now, and the money just filters down into the family. Everyone keeps their mouth shut because, from mum said it's cool. It's cool, isn't it? Like, what we doing, man? I just feel like the world is cruel, and sometimes we blur the vision with our false sense of security and morality. And, we try to make ourselves believe things are cool when they're really not cool, bro. It's really not good.
I got a bar. It says, try blurring our intuition by programming us like fools. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then the programming start right from young. And then it's like, I was listening to some people talk the other day, they're talking about homeschooling. And don't get me wrong, I ain't got nothing against homeschooling. But what it made me realize is like, you see the way we use words and terminology, yeah? Like, we have to be very careful because you see, if I'm educating my child, yeah, I'm educating my child. If I'm sharing information with my child, I'm sharing information with my child. If I'm informing my child on something, I'm informing them. If I'm training them into doing something, I'm training them. You see, when I'm schooling them, someone else is doing all of that. Even if I'm doing it, it's still someone else's stuff. It's still someone else's idea.
I hear you though.
That's real.
That's the thing. That's why we got to get back to the essence. Cause we are all we are our best teachers, you know. Ultimately.
You know what's so funny that when you just mentioned something, it made me think. And me and a gentleman had a conversation about the pre-programming since we're very young. And he was like, you ever notice if you go up to 10 to 20 people and ask them to say the ABC, everyone sings it. Nobody says A, B, C. Everyone's going to sing it because we've been indoctrinated and programmed, you know what I'm saying, with the song, the melody. So we even as grown adults, we'll still sing it if somebody says, yeah, say the ABC. Nobody's saying it without singing it. And I was like, wow, I never really thought about that. So when you mentioned that, it made me think about that, like how we've been pre-programmed on a lot of stuff. You know what I mean?
One tiny little example, innit? True.
Yep.
True,
Yeah, the programming goes so deep, and it's like one day you wake up and you realize you're living someone else's life. You know, like that. And then it's like, well, it's like that film again. We're back in that Matrix film. Yeah. When you woke up, you was living someone else's life. And then when the moment you realize people started appearing around you, like, and having conversation with you about the very thing that you was thinking about, the very thing that was going on in your mind. And then it's almost like the veil was peeled back so far that you was just able to access something in the ether. Yeah,
yes, sir. You just took the
I'm telling you, and once you could access that, everything became available to you. Everything became available, but everything got more dangerous. Everything just doubled down. Yeah, just like when they went into the Matrix, and it's like now it's even more dangerous because now we ain't even got their Matrix powers outside the Matrix. When we come out, now it's the machines versus just our normal human bodies, and that's hard work. So we got to make sure we arm to the teeth. And then we right back in that first conversation when I was saying we got to arm ourselves with something.
That's in Babylon.
Yeah. You see it in Babylon. And when we're in Babylon, because we got to arm ourselves with something. And this is what I'm saying, Brother P, when he kept going on about the Bible to me, at first, like sometimes I thought, you know, Brother P is deep in his Bible. And the more he went on, it was like I got more and more deep. And to the point where it's like now, if I didn't have that in my mind, I wouldn't be where I am today. Because I wouldn't have the protection to be able to walk through the murky waters, yeah, filled with people and others, the murky waters of souls, yeah, of people that I'm trying to wade my way through.
Not necessarily though, to a point, yeah, but we've always had that though, Shift, because I ain't never heard no one bracking you up with, like on the roads and them thing. Like you never went through like, so you've been walking through these.
No. You see, in that aspect, you're right. We've always had protection. I believe that about you too. But you see, the thing is, you see, when you get to these kind of conversations, it's dangerous. So you have to be careful who you're talking to. And it's like, it's almost like luck. It's almost like blind luck that you're gonna find yourself talking to the right people. But that's because of who you are. Do you understand? And then I realized there were certain people who were just like us and they were connected, but maybe even they knew a little bit more. So the way they were connecting, they was waiting for you. They already knew you was coming. You know, it's weird, brother.
That's how energy works, family. That's how the frequency align, that synchronicity as well, you know?
Yes, it's deep. But yeah, what about celebrity? What's going on out there with the public news, man? What's in the public news right now? Anyone seen Maybach? What's going on, man? You seen anything crazy going on? Because we're all in different parts of the land, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
I'll
mean?
be honest with you, yeah. You see, this Kanye thing, I don't know. It's
What's the
kind of
latest
flipped
with
my
him
wig a
now?
little bit.
I'm
I
a bit
don't know
out of
that.
date. I'm a couple
I
of weeks
don't.
out of date.
I don't know what's the latest with him other than he's supposed to have the deal back with the trainers, or they're supposed to be offering him a better deal, like that, because they can't sell the trainers now, innit? But then I
The
don't know. It
autistic
kind of.
genius.
Do you know what? Something it's flipped my wig a little bit with Kanye, because it's like, how can I explain this?
The last I heard
Kanye,
from Kanye, he's got to pay 250,000 a month in it for child support.
yeah,
That's the
yeah,
last
yeah,
thing I heard.
yeah. Mad thing. So yeah,
I want,
so he had to
I want him to
do
I want
that.
him to Kim. I want.
Then Kanye came out and
Like,
started talking
That's a
about
lot every 4 months.
he started talking about all the music industry and all the executives and certain groups of people groups and red tear. And then he had a bit of a meltdown in the industry, kind of got cancelled. He lost his trainer deal. And then after all of that, now they're saying they want to give the trainer deal back because they can't
yeah,
get
but
rid of the trainers.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, it's so mad. And then you see what the thing is on his trail to defeat, then almost, well, maybe we may as well call it back to victory if he gets the deal back. But on his
but
way
he
to
don't
defeat
care.
and
Kanye don't
victory,
care, you know. Kanye don't care. He's an empire in himself. He don't really care like that. He's gone past that. He just wanted to speak his thing. You know what I mean? And then what? There's a certain community they get offended. You know what I mean? So that's how it go. But he was
now, you
speaking
know
his
what,
truth. He was
no,
speaking his truth. But just sometimes it just misunderstood in it. Cause you know
brother.
how is it? I
One
mean,
second. I'm gonna share something with you. This is my theory on this, yeah. Another artist did the same thing, yeah, and they got cancelled. Yeah, I'm not even
yeah,
gonna mention their name. Yeah,
William.
yeah,
I
they
know who.
got cancelled, innit? They're done out here, innit? But you see that artist was very influential for their time and for a lot of people, not just in the UK, but all across the world, innit? So now, how do you hijack all of that energy? How do you harness energy, brother? What's the best way to harness energy?
Knock someone down, bro.
I'm going to tell you the best way I believe to harness energy. Yeah, when you say knock someone down, yes, but the way I want to explain it is like this. What's the guy's name? Drake. All right, Drake. Yeah. So harness energy. You create your own energy. Yeah. But your energy is based on someone else's energy that's already doing bits. They're already popular. Yeah. So by the time your entity gets big enough and people get to see you on a par with that entity, now you can suck the energy from other entities. How do you do that? It's quite simple. You put Drake on the tune with Migos, and now Drake sounds like Migos. Now, every time you hear Drake after that, from now on, he's going to sound a bit Migos on a couple of the tunes. All right, cool. So now we suck that energy. Yeah. Now, along the line, there's going to be more than just the Migos. There's going to be a load of different energies that get sucked in along the way. Yeah. So by the time you've sucked in all these energies and mastered all these energies, all you have to do is start making other entities within this realm that we're living in that share that energy, like retreat. You have to make them retreat or resign or whatever situation you have to put them in. Some of them might even have to die. Yeah. So then I'll go back to that youth there. What the youth called? Triple extension. Yeah. So triple extension, pause. Like he died. The poor guy. Yeah. He died. Triple extension died. Didn't Listen, triple extension died. But listen, my man sounds like him bad. My man, no, pause, but my man sounds like him bad. When you listen to my man, like, I listened to one little thing with triple extension talking, yeah, and he was saying, how come Drake now, yeah, he offered to do a tune with me, yeah? So then, like, I've already got a tune, and it's like, my man wants to jump on the tune or whatever. Yeah, he wants to jump on a tune and do a tune. Then next thing, he don't want to jump on the tune no more. Then I hear a new Drake tune coming out. So I listened to the Drake tune, And I said, rotted. It's like, it's exactly the same flow,
Well,
everything.
is that
It's
where
almost,
the beef started at? Because that's what me and Panero were talking about
listen,
earlier.
listen, the lyrics was almost mirroring, yeah? And then it
Mm.
brought me back to what the other youth said. What's the other youth? Soldier Boy. Soldier Boy said, Drake, Drizzy Drake. Yeah, and he started taking the mic, and then he plays you his tune and Drake's tune, and it's mirroring.
Stole the track. Yeah, stole his track.
It's mirroring.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not
Now
the
the
whole.
thing
He
is,
used it for a chorus. Mad thing.
all right. Now the thing is, now, yeah, obviously, someone probably got paid off along the way, and to be fair, I believe that's why Soldier Boy is dead now. That ended his career because you ain't allowed to talk. Yeah, you're not allowed to reveal secrets, innit? So at the moment you do that now everyone shies away from you. Now Soldier Boy, you can't work with him no more because he's going to talk the shit. He's going to say something. He can't be trusted, isn't it? So now he's got to just go in a downhill spiral like we've seen. All right, bam. So as far as Drizzy Drake, he's just going to carry on this uphill cycle till you forget about what my man said. And we're going to carry on with this energy vampire thing that we've been doing. And then when people call Drake a culture vulture, at first I was like, I'm not too sure. Then I started listening. Because I never listened. I know I wasn't a Drake fan and I don't want to listen to that shit. But then obviously when I listened, I was like, yeah, there's all sorts in there. Yeah.
Oh my
It's
people.
like that video I was watching today. There's a video where they slowed down they pitch correct Nicki Minaj's voice. Yeah. And all of a sudden it starts sounding like Jay-Z. I said,
see that.
blood.
I did see that. It sounded like Jay-Z proper though.
But brother, you see what you see when they said that, yeah? Like you see what it made me realize, yeah? This AI thing's definitely real. But also there's a thing called voice twins, yeah? That I didn't know about. Someone else explained that to me today. So if someone's got a voice twin then it's only for me to know the key of my voice to then know who my voice twins are in the other keys, innit? Bam. All right. So then I go and find myself a voice twin, and you are literally like an AI because you ain't even got to write nothing. You're just going to say what I told you to say, and you're just going to get paid, and you're just going to shut up. And now we're going to influence a nation with a Nicki Minaj or whatever else we want to throw at you. It's atrocious, brother. But I guarantee you there's some truth to it. In my opinion, anyway. I can't guarantee. In my opinion.
Brother Schiffer, with you being into music and stuff, how do you feel about that? Like, what do you feel that that you can make a change, or there is going to be a change where there's not going to be that death culture anymore, and there's going to be an uprise with more harmonious music where it's going to be sounding a little better than what it is now? Do you see that?
I think people like us will always be people like us. There's always going to be people who are natural in this world. That's never going to change. And we will gravitate towards each other. But unfortunately, you see, if we're looking at the industry on the whole and getting to the top of it, and Hollywood and acting and music and all of these things, let's get real. This is a program, innit? And for you to be part of the program, guess what you're going to have to be?
Programmed. But listen though, it can, you're right though, but change can happen though, because you know what?
In what way?
Like just the frequency that's being put out right now.
Brother, when you're in the devil's system, yeah, you're in his jurisdiction. That's what I'm going to say.
No, 100%. And I mean to say it was true. Industry wise, it's going to be a bit harder to bust up. But for example, there is a balance, because there's people, how could this, so to speak, in the underground, you know what I mean? And they're on that frequency, for example, you know what I mean? Yeah, but obviously it's not mainstream, it's not part of the industry, so to speak. So there is, but I feel it will change.
You're going to be suppressed, bottom line, because what we have to understand, the only way I believe, that righteous music will be the top of the food chain is if the entire establishment changes. Because you see the establishment,
but you know what? Check this though. The frequencies, when for example, the frequencies actually get put out there, because there's not enough frequencies out there you get me? There's just a certain frequency out there. I think it's going to overpower that frequency, because to be honest, that frequency is weak that's out there, I think, for the most part. You get me? It's designed to like It's designed to mess up the people. We already know what it's done for the people. You get me?
I hear where you're. Do you know what? I hear where you're coming from, and I appreciate the sentiment. I think it's a good sentiment to have. But brother, I'm gonna be
I
totally
know it's
honest.
going to be very hard to crack, though. I know this. If
No,
Right.
anything,
brother,
it's going to be very hard.
When you say very hard to crack, listen to what I'm gonna say to you.
Because
This is
I
my
know
honest
I know the
opinion.
industry is run off of that violence and It's an entertainment industry, isn't it? So I get that,
Brother,
but
there was a
Right.
that's
time,
why we have
yeah.
to set our thing apart. You get me?
Brother, there was a time when I thought like these things were crackable, yeah, until I realized that I'm in someone else's park. I'm in someone else's garden. Now imagine this. Imagine you walking into someone else's garden and saying, you know what? The garden's cool, you know, but I want to change it around and I want to paint something. I want to build something in the garden. You can't do that, brother.
I'm not going to allow you to do that unless he wants you
You're
to.
trespassing. You can't
True,
do it, brother. Yeah.
true,
So if you're
broski.
when you're
That's why we
trespassing
just
in
need to
someone
set up our
else's
own
garden.
industries, man.
Yeah, all right. So now what we have to understand is now, yeah, even though the music industry is not a garden, it's just an analogy. When you're in their garden, they even got the right to put hands on you or to even kill you, and they can get away with it. They can call it self-defense in their garden, innit? So if we want to play in their backyard, we're never going to be winning.
Yeah, no, true, bro. True. I get it. I get it.
You understand? This world was given to the devil, brother. This is the devil's world that we're living in right now. The devil's got dominion. That's the truth. You read the Bible tells you that. The Bible tells you that this is the devil's world, isn't it? Don't be of
So you
these.
don't. So you wait. Whoa. So you don't believe you're not living heaven on earth?
I believe I'm living in the kingdom on earth, but the devil
Okay.
ain't about the kingdom. The devil's about something else. He got his own kingdom and he's got his own dominions and his own minions and all
So
sorts running around.
it's really if you look at it, it's like all of it combined together. It's purgatory, it's hell, and it's heaven at the same time.
It's whatever you make it, but you have to understand
Absolutely.
You see the kingdom spreads far and wide. So the kingdom isn't just here. Yeah. This is a part of the kingdom. And in this part of the kingdom, you know, we have to uphold righteousness in order to enjoy the benefits of the kingdom. We have to uphold righteousness.
Right.
Yeah. That means standing up for righteousness wherever it needs standing up for also. That means not just turning a blind eye when, you know, they saw the woman getting robbed outside the shop, but the guy had a gun. So everyone turned their back and they ran scared. No, we can't have that in a righteous society. So unfortunately, you know, if we want to be in the kingdom, we all got to act and change the way we act. You know, we're not act. We've all got to do and change the way we act. We've got to stop acting. We got to start doing. We got to stop playing games. We got to stop. We got to take off the mask and the facade and just be real and, you know, hold ourselves to account, not just hold others to account, because that's what Jesus was talking about. He was saying, how are you going to dash stone at the woman and you ain't held yourself to account? So he's basically calling them sinners. Another guy explained it to me like that. It was perfect. It was like, yes, you're right. Because really and truthfully, if you weren't sinners, you would have dashed a stone. But nobody never dashed a stone. So all of them felt, but like, you know, maybe it was like a curse to them. It was like, wow, this is too powerful. If I dash a stone now, I could dead too. And I'm not going to get my promise of afterlife or whatever it is that I'm going to miss out on now. And I know it's true. So I'm not going to take that chance. I'm going to fuck this.
Because it's continuing on that energy funk, and then that turns you into a thing. You're gonna be a hypocrite then, because if you're the one to dash the stone, you're gonna turn into
you're gonna have to stone yourself
the suspect, so to speak. Yes, you're gonna have to reap what you sow. So the energy then continues in it. So
that's right. That's right. And obviously, you know, like I said, when you're in someone else's house, you can't tell them how to act, but you can play by their rules. Do you feel where I'm coming from? So, you know, if that was the rules and the laws of the time, the rules and the laws of the time applied to people, but he wasn't just a person. He's born of divine birth and all sorts of things. When you go in the Bible, it's telling you his dad is God. So that means to some extent, this man's got God DNA. Yeah. So to that effect, the laws that apply to us wouldn't apply to him. He's a higher authority. And that higher authority demonstrated it time and time again. And that's why it's such a powerful scripture when you're looking at it from that perspective. Like outside of that, people probably don't get it. They're probably just thinking, "Oh, just Jesus guy, and he died for our sins, all right." But he was soft. You weren't soft. What he's demonstrating is it's a higher level of power, because for instance, someone showed me this word. It's called gnosis. Yeah, so look this word up, gnosis, either Knosis or Gnosis. Now, what they're talking about with gnosis is a higher level of knowledge. So anything that we're calling knowledge is based in gnosis. Yeah, it's like the higher level. Like you can't just evidence it. Anything you bring to note with gnosis has to be unimpeachable. It has to be perfect.
Don't they have it's Gnostic Bibles?
Yeah, and that's what that's
what you're saying, right,
Gnosis.
Brother Shikma?
No, not Gnostic.
GN?
Gnosis.
That's why when you go under hypnosis, you get me. When you get under hypnosis, is a form of you know,
absolute control.
Yeah,
right.
You get me.
All right.
Yeah.
So what we're dealing with is now we're dealing with something that's absolute. We're coming away from what science is dealing with, theories and controversial knowledge. We're going into something that's gnosis now, so we can't be based on theory. It has to be based on absolute fact. Like that. So once we're thinking on that kind of a level, we're gonna be on a different level of humanity.
This is it. Just speaking on, you see about the gnosis, because it's all to do with the know, and the know is the intuition, technically, right? It's the within, because we all know. You understand? It's similar to the intuition. When you have that knowing, when you have that feeling, we all have that. We all have that knowing within us, But it's just coming to that awareness and that remembering. You know what I mean?
Well, do you know what?
And tapping in, because we do know like who we are.
I'm gonna tell you what it does, brother.
But it's just tapping in, because there's layers to this. Sorry, bro. There's layers to this mind. You know what I mean?
But it gives you full control of your ship, because if you're dealing with gnosis, that means you can't be wrong. Yeah.
And there's layers to our memory.
So what that actually does is that makes you a true adult. That makes you a true person, a true natural person of this earth. Because now you're dealing with gnosis. You're not gonna guess and say something.
You can unlock your DNA. That's how you unlock your DNA, yeah, and you get your proper your. That's how you tap into certain DNAs.
That's how you're gonna know the difference between right and wrong. Because what we find in the world we're living in now is that right and wrong
tap into your memory. That's how you tap into. That's how you tap into your memory. They call it the ether, and you call it you call it your ancestry. You know what I mean?
You see, right and wrong in this world, though, brother. Right and wrong in this world we're living in now is subjective. One person will think something's right and another person will think it's wrong, and they'll argue the toss. But they don't have to do that, because we could be dealing with gnosis. And if we're dealing with gnosis, the person who's wrong, there's a way to know that you're wrong. There's a way to know that you're right. And that's by dealing with the canon. That's by dealing with the divine law. Because that one you can't argue with. Because you didn't make yourself.
Absolute truth. There is no wrong or right?
When you say absolute truth, there is no wrong or right. There's always a wrong and right. But it's that we don't know the difference between wrong and right because of the way we've been trained. We've been schooled.
Yeah. There's a bit of confusion.
We've not been properly educated.
Of course, we've been told this is wrong and this is right, when that's not necessarily the case.
If we was properly educated, man and woman won't be arguing in the household. The average person won't be arguing in the streets, because we all know what we're supposed to be doing and what's the parameters.
That's why,
and what's acceptable.
That's why I say
unacceptable.
That's why I say they blur our intuition by programming us like fools. You get me? At least make it make sense. At least make it make. What I say? I beg you, make it make sense. Our ancestors used to rule. You know what I mean?
But that's why they had to change the law. That's why they had to change the law, brother, because the law was perfect. So they know if we're all dealing with the law, then really and truthfully, there's no argument about who's right and who's wrong, because we're just going to go to the law. We're going to reference the law. The only argument would be now, since obviously Yeshua has come and showed us a different way, the argument would be now, how do we rectify whatever? How do we recourse? That's it. How do we recourse? Not how do we rectify? How do we recourse? So if you've done something that broke the law or that infringes against my human rights as a natural person, yeah, which breaks the law, yeah, or deprives me of something, how do you repay me? If I go into a Bible deals with all of that, you know. It's going to say if you take a man's cow and kill a man's cow without paying for it and without his consent, you got to pay him back. I think it's tenfold. So now you got to give him 10 cows. Yeah. Now in this law system, if you took a man's cow and killed a man's cow and ate it, they might send you to court and say, well, pay a fine. And you might say, well, I can't pay the fine. And say, all right, well, pay £1 a week. And then you just don't pay the £1 a week. No one ever gets their money down. The guy whose cow got taken, he don't get a cow back. He just thinks that you've got a fine or you went to jail. If you murdered someone, you just go to jail. They don't get a payout. You just go to jail. Do you understand? So there's no real recourse. It's fake law. And then what they're going to do, they're going to say to you, oh, what do you want us to do? You want us to go back to the old days? Because they're going to try and scare you with that. They're going to say, well, you know, in the old days, that was medieval. You know, we used to chop people's heads off. We don't want to go back to that, do we? Oh, maybe we do, though, because at least there was recourse. So I will get my things back. Yeah,
I know.
now,
You know what I told him?
I don't necessarily want people's heads chopped off, but I definitely want recourse in the sense of, okay, you stole my cow. I might say, well, I want 10 cows. You might not have 10 cows. You might only have 2, but I'll take the 2. All right, cool.
You know, our last president said he wants that back. He wants the medieval times to come back.
That's probably why, because he realizes that the law is inefficient.
Oh,
It's inefficient.
Oh, he just said that.
It's inefficient and insufficient. But he don't really, he's probably saying the same thing I'm saying. He don't really want medieval times back. What he wants is to go back to a time where if you did something, you were held accountable. Yeah. You couldn't just write it off as, oh, the person's going to go jail and then we'll forget about it. No, you still got to pay that bill back. You still got to pay for my things that you stole. If you go jail as well on top of it, like, I'm not that bothered about that. I don't even care about jail like that. You see, if someone thief from me, like, I might be more concerned with giving you a box and you paying for my things that you thief more than you going to jail.
Exactly.
Do you feel where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like,
some reprimanded. You get me?
Yeah, not maybe medieval as they knew it, but something a bit more appropriate to the times, isn't it? Because jails are outdated. That's redundant. And all jail does is fuck up people's lives. Yeah, half of the people in jail should not be there because really
put them in a time capsule.
They've not even committed a crime. A crime has to be in the canon. So any statute is not a law.
We know that, man. We know it's true, bro. We know that them laws, there's some you know what I mean, falsified laws, man.
So we're prisoners of war, really. And then once we break that down, that's why I said, sis, look at that act. Yeah, that's an act of war.
Right.
So we need to start understanding. And once we understand the acts of war, then you understand where I'm going with the treasonous talk. And like, we can just kind of put a pin in it and say, all right, please look at that thing, read it properly and understand what's going on, because it's a dangerous world we live in. And with all of the things that's been happening recently, with all of the stuff where, you know, you can't leave your house, and I'm not going to go too deep into that, but brother, I'm telling you, it, from my perspective, it looks like the rich are about to get a lot richer, but the poor are about to get a lot poorer. And then what happens then? What happens then? I believe that the same kind of situation in a more extreme fashion. That's what I believe.
Yeah, exactly that. That's it. The bridge widens, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Or narrows, whichever way you're looking at it.
Yeah.
Like that. If you're on one end of the spectrum, yes, the bridge widens and it's like maybe life looks like it got so much better. But on the other end of the spectrum, it's like the bridge narrows and it's like, wow, this is terrible. Like, and you know what people do when they're suffering, man. You know what they're gonna do, man. That's the fact.
That's the truth. That's the truth. So true. But I feel that as well with the, how can I say, the change in times and stuff getting more dramatic, you know what I mean? And testing,
Yeah.
that with great tests, you know, great things will happen, you know what I mean? Especially when great people is pressured, you know what I mean? You know.
Mhm.
So I think it's gonna start separating a lot of, you know what I mean? The
Yeah.
weak from the strong, so to speak. Even though I know that none of us are
The
weak to
chaff
even be
from the
on this
wheat.
plane. Yeah, even though I know none of us are weak to be on this plane, but I think that's kind of thing. That's what it's gonna do, you know.
Now, but brother, people are soft nowadays, brother. Them soft. And I don't mean soft
Yeah.
as in SOFT. I mean them soft.
They're zesty.
SARF. Yeah, because brother, let me tell you something, yeah. You see, people get scared when I talk because I talk radical. I don't business. I read my Bible. You're not telling me nothing different. We'll argue the toss. We can go toe to toe over it. I don't care. Whatever level it's got to go to, I'm defending what I'm about because they're not going to change me. They're not going to control me or turn me into a robot. So if I see if my picnic gets out of hand, I'm boxing him. I don't care. Fuck your law. Yeah. If I see anyone's pick me out a road going on with fuckery, you see, if there's a boy pick me, I
I'm
will
following him up
box
on that.
him. I will box him. Now, if it's a girl pick me, yeah, it's like I saw this video, yeah, that Rasbeck was putting out with the girl pick me fighting and then
But we
beat
ain't
up the
talked about
sister.
that. We ain't talked about that.
I
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
I know. Let me just say this quickly though. But if I did see that, yeah, and I see these three white picnic, I beat up one of the sister them. These three white girl, I beat up one of the black girl picnic, and the mothers there all cheering them on, egging them on. You see what? I ain't gonna box them, yeah, but I tell you what, I don't feel no way to put my hand. You know, like the face hugger from Alien when the face hugger gets your face. That's how my hand grabbing their face and I'm pushing them away and the mum too. And I don't business because you see when you're on some disrespect, you have to know how to take violation when you're violating it. So at the same time, like I believe people are so soft nowadays. We're gonna sit back when people are doing fuckeries and expect man not to do nothing. And then when man gets involved and does something and I smush all of their faces and push them away, everyone's gonna say, oh, he's terrible. Oh, he's a tyrant. How's he gonna put his hands on those women? But when those women, if one of those women had kicked that little girl's head into the floor and she dead, you know, I could have just saved her life. So I'm not gonna take that chance, Carl. We have to stand up for righteousness and stop playing their game. That's where it is.
That couldn't happen around me. You already know, shit. You know what I mean? You know how that couldn't even that. I know that couldn't happen around me, bro. I just don't want to let that slide at all in front of me.
Brother, I told people straight, like I'm dial 855 shipper. I'll beat your kids.
What?
If you're scared of what the government's gonna do to you, because remember you can't beat your kids nowadays, innit? People are scared, innit? I'll beat them kids, man. I will give them a slap. I don't listen. I will give them a slap. If you need help, call at me. 855 shipper. I'll beat your kid. Yeah, I know.
855. 855.
It's different, man.
What's it? 855.
It's all for my loving place. You get me? It's all for
Exactly. You know, my parents, they used to get the belt on me. My father would find anything that he can get to hit me because I'd be dodging him. I'd be running across the room. So he'll take his slipper and throw it at me. He'll get this like plastic bat and throw it, like whatever he could, he'd throw it and get me because I'd be dodging him.
Listen, spare the rod, spoil the child. We laying down the law this year.
Exactly.
I'm not playing.
Exactly.
I will beat a kid. I don't care. And if a parent's having a hard time and the kid's too big or whatever the problem, we can sort it out. I will beat that kid. They will know their place today. Because kids need to know their place in society again. They really don't.
You have to teach them because otherwise they will get teach. It's not like that. You don't want no one else teaching them. You know, like that.
That's
so
right.
It's best. And that's why education is important, obviously, and it starts from the household. You must impute. You must impute things in your child from early. You know, not in a fearful way, but make them know. You know what I mean? So they shouldn't even behave in a certain way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know.
And as long as I got the parents' authority, like I said, I'm
as
happy
wild
to
as they is. You know what I mean?
No more talking about beating no kids on my channel.
I'll go. Listen. I'll go to the court and I will explain myself. But I will go to the court and I will explain myself. I
You
know
see
what I'm
Sugar
doing.
standing at the courthouse with a
Listen.
belt, just waiting for kids to line up.
Listen. By the time I'm done with the court and done with the system, everyone gonna be able to beat their kids again now. If I have my way.
About it, though. You know the mad thing about it though. If all the mothers was to stand up and take a stand and say, "No, we're not going by that rule," they couldn't lock all the mothers up.
Thank you very much. They got
That's what I'm trying
Thank
to.
you.
I'm trying to be the change I want to see. I'm trying to be the change I want to see. Some mums stand up.
Just the mothers alone, for example, yeah, if they were to stand up, they wouldn't have a tinging chance. Cause what would you really be able to do? You wouldn't do nothing. You know what I mean? You wouldn't do a damn thing. Cause there wouldn't be nothing you could do. What are you gonna do?
Gonna dash all the mums in jail.
Put a quarter of the mums in jail. You know the ones there. Like, come on. That's how you know, man. What these things that, for the most part, in it, when you actually think about it, but it's about coming together because single-handedly, even you know what I mean, in a group, it ain't gonna work. We have to really come together and
yes, brother.
As man
them, that makes sense because listen, they gave the power to the girls, the woman them already. Sorry, they gave the power to the woman them for a reason because they had to separate the authority. Remember,
what's not
But if we learn the Bible is going to tell you the man is the head, you know, the man is the authority. They need to separate that authority.
I want to do a whole show for that one.
Yeah, we'll save that. Yeah, let's save that. Cause I gotta go to my bed anyway. I got work.
You can say a little piece, innit? Say a little piece, but we're gonna definitely save that for another show. Still, it's a whole show.
Yeah.
Right there.
But now that's what I needed to say. The man is the authority, and they definitely needed to get rid of that. So there was only one way. You know, we had to write up a new act, and this new act is gonna say the mother got more rights. And that's what it's about. That's why these acts were acted on you in the first place, because we all in this movie together. And someone else is controlling the cutscenes. I rest my case.
Yeah, no, it's real. It's real, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say something to that too, but I'll wait till the next
No, say a little bit.
Another show for that. But no, it's true because
do you remember I asked you that, Foxy, last week? Remember I asked you about that?
Yeah, and
and I said it's a different question, but I said, do you think that that the government been giving women more power? You know, but I should have had more of us up on there. It was just me and Foxy still, which is bouncing.
I'll be honest, I'll be listening.
Yeah, but go on, Foxy, go on.
Yeah, no, because you got to think with all this foolishness that's going on now with certain communities that wear colors, right? These mothers have allowed a lot of that foolishness to go and be filtrated into their homes. Yes, so now it's, little Tommy, if he wants to wear this color and things like that, and you're not this, you're that. No. You were born one way, you were born this way, and that's it. And then there's an agenda to change certain things around. And it starts like the mothers have that influence. Like I said, in the beginning of not in the beginning of this broadcast, but mothers are the first teachers of the child. They hear the baby in the womb hears the mother's voice. They hear everything around them. So for some outsider to come in and say or show you certain things that are not according to your teaching in your household, and then make it okay. And then and then now you got all these females like, that's so cute, Billy Porter wearing a dress. No, that's not cute, and that's not okay.
Confusing of the child brain, you know what I mean?
Whoa. How can you live someone else's version of happiness? That don't make sense. That's not true happiness. What that is it's all an act, because there was never no happiness to begin with. So didn't exist. I'm going to leave it there because we're going to fuck up the show for the next time. We're going to fuck up the show, but yeah, we do need to go into this stuff, man, because it's important conversation. It's dangerous stuff as well, like, to be fair, because we don't want to upset people.
The other thing is like, and that's what makes things soft, because back in the 70s and the 80s, especially in the 80s where I grew up, I was a kid going through that. You gotta suck it up. You gotta man up. My mother did not both my parents were discipliners. There wasn't one who was one more than the other. And I was scared of both my parents, but I also challenged them as well. That's probably why I got in a lot of trouble, because I was always like, going against them. But they never was like, oh, she's a girl and we need to go soft on her. Oh, no. I just told y'all, my father would throw whatever he could get and hit me. There wasn't this, oh, she's a girl, we got to be soft with her. No. You suck it up and you keep it moving. Now, is that right? No, because some people are walking around here like, oh my God, I had it so rough and so forth and so on. But I tell you, make me more resilient. I can handle the world a little bit thanks to my parents being the way that they were.
Yeah.
More than that.
You know what it is? Yeah. Deep down, you would never really know. So if we never got licks, yeah, we don't know how we'd turn out. You know what I'm saying? You never know, because I know people that didn't get licks and they turned out stupid anyway. So I don't know. Yeah,
right. I mean, but there's no one perfect solution as far as disciplining children.
And then I know people that didn't get licks and they're cool. They're cool. Like, I know people that never got no beats, but they're calm. Like,
Yeah, and it's also genetics. It's also what when we know about food now and what it does to your body and so forth and so on. It's all environmental as well.
They didn't grow up with me though. The ones that didn't get licks, they didn't grow up with me.
I think it depends.
Yeah,
it depends on the child.
I've met in the future and we've talked about it. Like, no, I never got beats. I'm like, what? Do you know what I'm saying? It's strange to me, innit? But they're calm. So I don't know. It just depends, man. You don't know how you would turn out, and you don't really know.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I totally agree. I think it depends on the child, because it's not. You see, it's not the
child, the parents, and the environment. You know what I mean?
Right. It's a plethora of things.
You see what I was gonna say here? When you read the Bible says, "Spare the rod, spoil the child." Yeah. Yes. Now, what is the rod? What are we identifying the rod as? The rod, listen, the rod is whatever facilitates the change. Now, some children, the rod may be as simple as you raising your voice. Yeah, that may be a sufficient rod. Yeah.
No, the rod is that belt. The rod is the
rod. Pause. But yeah, we have to use the word. We have to make the analogy with the correct word, isn't it? But it's a pausey one, yeah. So the rod could be the belt. Pause. The rod could be you not going to the rave, or losing the PlayStation or whatever.
Right.
But it has to be sufficient to facilitate the change. If it's not facilitating the change and you're going back and doing the same thing, then things have to escalate. Just like if you got arrested by the police and then it's like, we're gonna allow you this time, we're gonna let you go. But if you get caught again, we're gonna escalate. Yeah. When they get you again, they gotta escalate. We gotta go to the next level, otherwise you're gonna think you can just get away with it.
True. True though. Facts.
But some people got abused, innit? It just is what it is. You know what I mean?
True.
Some people got abused.
That's true.
I might have got abused. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but it is what it is. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I got my mum's from Kingston, Jamaica, so you already know what it is, right? So,
yes, sir.
And she wasn't born there. She was born in Jamaica. You see it? So she used to get beat at school, innit, when she was younger. So you already know what time it is, yeah. But the thing is, me, when I think back at it, I'm not really crying about the licks I got. I got licked with some crazy shit, but you know what I'm saying. but at the same time, yeah, I kind of appreciate it, man, because I remember getting to that time. Who remembers when they got to that age where your mum tried to beat you when you was 16 and that shit didn't even hurt, blood?
Yeah, mad.
Yeah. See, if you never got beat at that, if you never got beat with that time, that shit would have hurt like shit. Yeah.
Shoot.
And then that time, then my mum had to dash me out because the beatings didn't work no more. She lost control and then she had to dash me out. You know what I'm saying? But when you get to that stage where them beatings don't hurt, you can say to yourself, yeah, I graduated from. You know what I'm saying? I
And you're right.
graduated.
And sometimes,
Now, hold
you
on
know,
1 second. Bia, think about what you just said. a man said you graduated. Ask him what he graduated from. What was the lesson? What was the name of that course? What physical education?
Physical. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah. Hey, listen. You know how it is, Schiffer, man. When you get lit with certain
proper
things.
PE, you get me? Proper PE.
No, but listen, I know for a fact, yeah, if I go road when I was younger and I get into an altercation and someone swings a piece of wood, I know sort of how to duck it and bounce or duck it and attack. You feel me? I learned that from my mother, bro. What are you talking about?
Come on. Them
Learned
things
that
that
from
hold
my
us
mother.
good. At the end of the day, you know, say, especially when we're young, yeah, like if you're not here, you must feel. You know, say the saying already.
Yeah.
Come from our culture, yeah, that stays
I
in our
believe
culture.
that.
If you're not here, you know what I mean. You must feel. You know what I mean, and then you're gonna learn quicker then, innit? If you don't.
And
So
let's not pretend like the beatings don't only teach you, you know, not to do stuff. It teaches you more than that. You know what I mean? It even gives you some self-respect on how to carry yourself around certain people and them things there, bro. It's not
It gives
just
you some discipline, some form of
man.
discipline. Literally, there is a thing with pain in it. Like, however crazy it sounds, like there is a thing with pain as well that it does something as well. Like it does something to them. It does something to the mind. Like, you know what I mean?
Bro.
It programs,
you.
and
That's
it
right.
conditions you.
And
Yeah,
it
and it
conditions
definitely
you because
programs you.
now
Yeah.
you understand the difference between consequence. You see, if you was one of them children that had to get beaten, like me or you or P or any other kid that had to get a beating now and then, you understood the difference between consequence and dire consequence from early, which gave you an advantage over the other kids because you already knew when it was going to be dire consequences. Some of them didn't know. So they weren't ready for that. They weren't ready for all of that. So you already knew if once you got to that level of knowledge, how to, behave in a certain way to minimize certain damages that you could have created. There may have been times you lost control, but you knew you lost control. That's the difference. And that's what made you dangerous.
True still.
Yeah, definitely.
This game
So
of life.
people, it's getting late now still. So what time is it over there, Foxy? I don't know what time it is over there, Foxy, but over here it's like
I think it's 10 o'clock over there, you know?
Yeah, 10 o'clock over there.
Yeah.
All right, she's all right then. She's good to go. Yeah, it's beddy times over this side. Big up everybody in
Brother
the chat.
Panero, it's 10 o'clock over here. Like I gotta actually go because my dad up. He's now calling me.
Okay. Say that.
Well, thanks a lot, Foxy. Thanks a lot, Foxy.
Big up to everybody. Thank you so much, Brother Panero. Brother Schiffer, good to see you again. PR, be easy, be well. Stay safe,
Big up,
y'all.
Foxy.
Right.
You
We'll
too,
back
Queen.
on
Blessings.
We'll be back on Wednesday or maybe even tomorrow.
Yeah, hit me up behind the scenes.
Therefore.
Salute to the channel. Salute to everybody coming through. Peace.
Blessings and peace.
Yo, big up. Don't forget everyone, yeah? We got all the everyone that's up here has got a channel, so we put all of that in the description, man. Big up PRB TV doing his thing on Instagram and YouTube. Big up Schiffer, man. I see you, man. You're just floating everywhere, man. Spreading that knowledge, you know what I mean?
Come on,
yeah. So
love this. Beautiful to link up with you guys, man. Link up with you guys.
No, same here, bro. Same here. And the thing is, you know what? I like to do my thing. I like to, because obviously I do videos all the time. So people, you have to understand when I do my show. Yeah, anyone wants to jump up here, just know I'm not trying to talk no one or cut people off. I just this is for you, like, innit? So we can all get together. Like the same thing that PR.
It's beautiful what you're doing, bro. It's beautiful what you're doing.
I just let man chat, bro, and just do. You understand?
Come on, fam. Yeah? It's a beautiful thing, bro. I love it. That's what I'm trying to do at some point. I want to try and put some content, maybe start creating some content. You know what I mean?
And big up Maybach.
Yes.
Big up Maybach for jumping on. I see you, Mystery. Big up yourself. D-Boy. Maybe you can jump on next time, D-Boy. James.
Make sure you write down. Make sure you write down them subjects as well, man, about the parenting, you know,
Yeah, no, we're definitely about the other one as well. Yeah, no, I've got that there, man. Trust me, don't worry.
We can do that video as well. We can look at that video with the Raspet put out with the girl getting beat up. You can look at that.
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
I'll set everything up, Shifa, and make sure everything's ready to go for all that. Yeah, defo. On Wednesday, yeah. If not tomorrow, 'cause I might go gym late tomorrow still. So it'll probably be yeah, I'll probably be going gym late. If I don't go gym late, then I might set off a show tomorrow.
Wicked.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, my people. Blessed love and we'll link up
All
soon,
right.
yes?
Done now. Bless that.
everybody, man.
Big up, family. Done now.
Blessings.
Bless up the chat.
Bless up everybody in the